Welcome. This is Tom.
Mike.
AM.
In the PM.
HUDRadio.com. We're live from the BMW of Atlantic City studios like we are every Wednesday night. We're right here in Mount Ephraim, New Jersey. BMW of Atlantic City. We're off exit 17 of the Parkway. Find them online, BMWofAtlanticCity.com. Every Wednesday night we are brought to you by our certified public accountant. Make him yours. Find them on the web, GibsonMayer.com. That's GibsonMayer.com.
Not too late to file for that extension.
Yeah, you get a 6-month extension. Take care of yourself. Like me, you know what I mean? I'm not trying to get tax fraud, Daddy. I don't want to be in the joint like Aaron and have to hang it up. I don't want to do that to the people.
We'll get into that.
We'll get into the hang up and everything else that comes with it on a brand new edition of Tom and Mike AM and the PM, HUDRadio.com. Tom Renaud, Michael Mataraki, Sean Redden, Rob Povey on the ones and twos. We'll be breaking a lot of stuff down for you tonight. We'll talk about Clay Buchholz being sidelined. That guy won Zach Eflin a chance to come back up with the big league club last night. You know, rough first, settled in, looked sharp. I mean, I think we know who Zach Eflin is.
This is what he is.
I like Eflin. We'll get into him more.
Every time I've seen him throw, rough first inning, settles in, and you get what you get.
And you get what you get. And look, he had command after the first. I mean, he was just missing in the first two. You know, trying to be a little too, fine with his pitches. And obviously the whole point of, first, not your first big league start, but your first big league start of the year, and obviously jazzed up to do it. So we'll get into that. We'll talk about Mets Phillies tonight, tied at 3.
Mets are officially the walking wounded now. They had Lucas Duda and Travis d'Arnaud both leave the game with injuries.
Hey, guess what? When you come in our goddamn groups and you want to puff your goddamn chest like you're somebody, all right? And I know the guy lives down the block, and great guy, Rob Lombardi. But you want the first 2 weeks of the baseball season to really come swinging through our group. Right? A group I freaking created that's not built for Mets fans, but we'll take it, okay? And you want to puffer fish through that group. Well, guess what? We won one game last night. I'm coming back in. 5 losers of what? 4 straight? Now it could be 5 tonight if the Phillies can hold on. Don't puff fish. Don't puff fish 2 weeks into a season,
we got a hardcore Mets fan who's our producer, but he's not a douchebag.
No, he didn't come in puffing. He went to the game with the puffer fish, but he got free tickets, so we'll let that slide. You do what you do for the free tickets.
If it's free, it's for me.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll talk about Phils as the show moves on tonight. We're going to be talking a lot about the draft. Leading up to the draft, HUD Radio will be down there. We'll get into that. It's all part of a poll question. We'll get in a little bit, maybe a minute of Aaron Hernandez, not a lot. We'll talk about how.
I got something I got to talk about on that one, so it won't be a lot, but we got to hit
a little, not as much. We're not bringing in guests and celebrating a piece of shit's life here on HUD Radio. Yeah. This is not the worldwide leader of bullshit. This is the worldwide leader of real talk. And speaking of real talk, we'll get into how a local media company is looking for clickbait, or they're just that freaking clueless. One of the two. I mean, I don't know. I can't help them, but when you put in any type of article, Ben Simmons for Paul George, go away. We'll talk about that throughout the show as well. But our poll question brought to you by Scanzano Sports. Where are they at? ScanzanoSports.com is where you can find them. Find myself there as well. Which part of the 2017 NFL draft?
You find yourself there a lot.
A lot. Another win for the kids tonight. 5-1 for the little guys. A little 9-1 Vic. Just playing the game right, man. I'm all about teaching it right at the young level so they don't grow up and be Freddie Galvis. That's all I'm trying to avoid here. Which part of the 2017 NFL draft are you most excited for? Me? The people? But we'll talk about the draft itself, NFL experience down there, celebrity sightings, or just the spotlight on Philly. I can give a rat's ass about the spotlight on Philly. Because some way it's going to be we threw a snowball. We know how this comes full circle, that we're the bad people. But real quick, before we get into this, I know we're going to get into Aaron Hernandez and all this, but I want to say one thing before I forget. Jason Martinez on 97.5, go away, babe. Just go far away. The fact that you feel bad, like he was saying today, like I feel bad, for I think people have gone too far with the attacks on him today. What are you talking about? Are you okay? Like he's like, I think it just went too far. Like, you shouldn't crush a guy when he's dead or whatever. I'm like, what are you talking about? You should get a pink slip in your locker as soon as you go back. But whatever. But what are you most excited for the 2017 NFL draft?
Well, given that I am not going to be in town when the draft occurs.
We'll also give our picks and all that as well.
For me, I think it actually is spotlight on Philly, but it's not for that reason you were talking about, because you're right. There is going to be, a certain group that's going to take their shots at Philadelphia as a whole. But I think that spotlight is what's gonna kind of drive the hoopla, because I think it's the whole experience. Like, I just have a feeling that this thing is going to be off the hook with the stage set up on the Art Museum steps and the Parkway, with the NFL experience and all the celebrity sightings, and two regulation football fields rolled out for an adult version and a kid's version of the old punt, pass, and kick game with zip lining from goalpost to goalpost and stuff like that. Like, I just think it's going to be a wild scene, and I'm a little salty that I'm not going to be able to get there. But I think just that spotlight on the whole thing, like, I just think it's going to be wild.
Yeah, the fan experience, almost like when the All-Star game was here in Philly back in the 90s. You know, that whole fan experience and everything that they had, Fan Fest and all that.
It's going to be a party, no doubt.
It was great.
No doubt.
It was great. So, you know, I think I lead more towards just the draft itself. You know, being here, I think they all tie into being here, but just, you know, not being in the draft per se, but just being around the people and the excitement and just soaking all that in. I'm real excited for that, and I think it's going to be a great time.
Yeah, I'm going with the NFL experience. Like, I always seen when it was in Chicago last year, all the pictures and videos put up a draft town and, like, going through, like, seeing the different things from different teams, getting to interact with the players that are getting drafted and players from other teams. I think that would be a really cool experience, and that's one thing that I always said that I would love to do is not be in the draft per se, because I could give a shit less about being there when Roger Goodell's getting called up.
Nobody wants to be around
all
Hitler.
that. Yeah.
Nobody likes Hitler.
But, like, I do want to go down there and experience that whole NFL experience, draft town type thing. One thing I do hope about when the NFL draft, it comes around the actual draft, can we just stop booing Goodell after every pick? Like, it kind of got old after the first couple drafts. Like, okay, when he first comes out, boom. But not every single time he comes out.
No, you're right, because it takes away from the moment.
Yeah, it gets kind of old. Yeah.
It's not going to happen.
No,
But, yeah.
you're right.
You're right.
But the man's got a point.
No, you're spot on. I mean, it gets old. You know, boom, when he first comes out, boom, maybe for the first couple picks and let it go. But every team wants to get their shot.
Yeah.
That are down there. They want to get their boo on. And once somebody starts booing, it opens up the floodgates and everybody's booing. And it's a boo fest, not a fan fest. But, I mean, I keep on booing his ass. Nobody likes Hitler.
Well,
nobody likes a dictator. That's booed.
Boo. That's what you do.
Listen, this is in Philly. This ain't in Chicago. We're a boo town. All right, heavy boo. We got, you know, a lot of wind in our lungs to get on out. We're heavy breathers. So what? I'm speaking for myself.
Well, I was going to say, what did you do? Just describe the show?
Pretty much. So boo the shit out of the guy.
A lot of wind, heavy breathers. That's us. Jesus Christ. What you got?
Dave
Layton,
what's Big Red got? A Bud Light Lime? Ryan McColgan about
well, no.
Goodell?
Let me just throw something in here. No, we don't drink on the air. PI does that, and they look like Chicagoos.
No, we should send us.
What
some.
they drink beer on the air?
They drink Miller Lights on the air.
That's cool. But
I don't even know if they're sponsored.
You just got to be able to handle your alcohol to pull that moving. I don't believe anybody that's a part of that.
We drink vodka Sprites over here.
Oh, cool. Listen, I'll just drink them under the table. We'll do a 4-hour show to their hour and a half, and we'll still be drinking.
We do 4-hour shows sober, so it doesn't
I
matter.
know. I don't know where they feel like the alcohol comes into play.
Yeah.
Like, you know, if you can't talk to a girl, then you take a sip. I get you, baby. If you're scared of the mic and you need a little alcohol to loosen you up. Well, now, if I'm working with Adrian Fedke, I'll need alcohol too. If I'm working with Sean Brace, I'm going to need a lot of alcohol because they're both hacks and they stink. But when you work with guys who can have a conversation with you, you don't need the alcohol, right? If you know you got game to go up to that girl, what do you need the alcohol for?
Right.
Come on, Mr. Brace. You're better than this. Fox 29 is better than when they hired you, too. That's why that's going to shit. But let's see. Ryan McColgan, no, boo the shit out of him. Talking about Goodell. Bob Hartman, just want to see what Howie the Genius Roseman does. That's all. Well, of course.
We're all a little scared for that, though, too.
Frank Vespi says P.I. drinks Zima. So.
God bless him.
God bless him. That's right.
Hey, leave it to Frank to hit on the drink because he knows it's coming back, too. It's unbelievable. Frank will be in here with his Zima next week.
I'm out.
He might be the only one in here, but he'll be here with his Zima.
With a Zima. Huh. All right. So we're talking a little bit about the draft and where you guys think, you know, what players you think will land, positions, whatever, but we'll start whoever wants to start that game.
Before we go there, though, just relevant topic. With the draft being next week, do you think they have a moment of silence for Aaron Hernandez?
If they do, somebody should blow the draft out.
Yeah, are you kidding me?
It's ridiculous.
Somebody, as soon as they start the moment of silence, everybody should cheer.
I hate to say this. Like, I don't believe in, anything bad happening. Like, to the facility. But if they really have a moment of silence, people then should boo and throw everything that's in their pockets at whoever was on the mic.
Initiated.
Let's hold a moment of silence for Aaron Hernandez, and everybody just throw whatever they have. Chairs, throw it all up on stage. Ruin the whole freaking draft if that's what they want to do.
Because you're going to have a moment of silence for I was going to say a convicted criminal, but he's not. Oh. And get this shit.
Well, the first time he wasn't he?
Right, but I don't know if you guys heard this.
He could have got out.
Well, no. He actually dies legally an innocent man. Because the first one where he actually got convicted was in the appeals process. And if you die during the appeals process, even if by your own hand, Massachusetts has some weird 200-year-old state law that says if you die while your trial is or your case is still being tried, even at the appeals level, you are considered innocent because you were never proven guilty. So he technically dies even by his own hand as an innocent man. And now you get his lawyer turning around and saying, well, right, but here's the thing. So if he died and he's innocent, the lawyer is now going to try to claim that he didn't commit suicide, that he was murdered in court so that his family can collect all the insurance and they can sue for wrongful incarceration. This whole thing has turned into the biggest clusterfuck known to mankind. And how ironic is it that it all happens on the same day that the Patriots are at the White House?
What are the chances, though, that if his lawyer tries to take it to court to say he was murdered, what's the chances of a hung jury?
Well played, sir.
I don't know. You get the John 3:16 written on your forehead when they find you. There's a good chance that anything could happen.
I agree.
That's funny as hell.
The bright spot is he went out doing what he does best, murdering people.
Killing people.
Yeah, Nicky Jules dropped a bomb earlier, though. I almost fell out of my chair laughing.
Go ahead.
He said, how did Aaron Hernandez keep the bed sheet up? He tied a tight end. I dropped my phone and almost fell over.
Well,
Bruce Homered again.
There he goes.
What is it, 5-3 Mets?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Top 9. Addison Reed in for the close. So, that was quick.
Oh, Addison Reed, they may or may not hold the lead. Every team in the NL East has a horrible bullpen, I'm convinced.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Nationals just switched up theirs. Dusty Baker quote, "It's not working."
It's not working.
I like that quote. Just not getting it done.
Jay Lash on YouTube really dug the hung jury comment. Actually. Clutch.
It's unbelievable.
The jokes could just go on for days.
Well, they could, and honestly, it's I'm not going to use the word tragic because I'm over that. It's a sad situation because it was a waste of a life, his own. But you know what? He made a mockery of himself, his team, the NFL. The jokes should go on. The jokes are on him.
Yeah, I don't feel bad for anybody in this situation. Like, people want to come out, and, I saw the post earlier, like, well, people put all these jokes out, and he has a 4-year-old daughter. Well, he did that.
Yeah.
I didn't do that. I didn't go out murdering people wanting to be a gangster. He did that. Okay? He had a daughter. That's something that I would say he has to live with, but he's been in prison for how long now?
That's what I said.
Okay?
Did he was a dad in theory.
Yeah, he wasn't a dad. He wasn't a father. He didn't do anything for that kid.
He might have been a father, but he wasn't a dad.
He wasn't a
dad.
No,
yeah, exactly.
It's a joke. I mean, so anybody that wants to it's too far, man. He has a kid. Dude, I didn't go out killing people. I didn't decide to pull the gun. He did. All right, you want to be a big dog, then you go down like the big dogs. You want to be a gangster? Well, gangsters die in prison. All right?
If they don't get shot up, they die in prison.
Yeah, and by his own hands. And then his lawyer coming out and saying, "Whoa, he's not the guy who would take his own life." Okay, dude, stop it. Don't try to put a spin on us. Yeah. And the worldwide leader of bullshit actually covering it for at least 45 minutes of an hour show, bringing in guests, saying, "Oh," and one guy's like, "Oh, it's a somber feeling outside of the prison." You're in front of a fucking prison. It is somber. Nobody's happy to be there. The guards aren't happy to be there. Nobody wants to be in a prison. What are you talking about?
Here's what I want to know.
I love that.
What I would say to them is, why is it news? Why? People commit suicide in prison every single day.
All the time.
Doesn't mean it's a good thing that happens, but it's a fact of life. You're in prison and you're in there for life. there's about a 50-50 shot that you're going to off yourself. The guy just did it in Montgomery County prison like yesterday, but he didn't make front page news because he wasn't Aaron Hernandez. But you know what? Shit happens every day.
Yeah.
It does.
It just shows you he's a coward.
I'm salty tonight.
He's a coward, dude.
That's what happens when the sheet hits the fan.
There you go. Or the sheet gets stuck in the fan.
Zach Eflin, Nava Galva scores 1-run game. Thank you, Bobby Hartman.
I told you.
Oh, yeah. Well,
they may not hold that lead.
Addison Reed loves the middle of the plate. Big fan of the middle of the plate. So
More than Benoit?
yeah, maybe.
You
But
know what?
that's the thing. There's no sympathy. And for anybody that has sympathy for the guy or says, social media went too far today, again, no, we didn't.
Hey, wait.
And he should get crushed.
Hey, it wasn't just us.
It was everybody.
Everybody made a mockery of him.
Oh, yeah. I'm just saying for anybody out there that's like, feel for his family. Like, okay, you raised a killer. Tell you. I feel for his mom and dad. No.
That's bad parenting.
The only one I feel for is the daughter. That's it.
And I only feel for her because she's
probably going to be
she
better
was
off
a year and
now.
a half when he got locked up anyway. And yeah, she is going to be better off now.
You know what? I feel for her because she's going to grow up without a father. Other than that, that's it.
Yeah.
You know how it is.
Yeah.
Speaking of the daughter, he was actually just granted visitation rights. Do you think maybe the guilt that he carried and having to face his daughter maybe drove him to this point? Or do you side towards the lawyer and the family that are barking that he didn't kill himself, that he was murdered?
I had two separate questions, I think.
Yeah.
I think the first part, yes, you could very well be right that the suicide was basically brought on by guilt, not over what he did, but of the daughter. And I think also, and he just had recent court appearances, and you're walking in and out of the courtroom and your family's there and you can't talk to them, but you're seeing your family and you're seeing the pain that you've caused and you're seeing the family of the people that you've murdered and the pain you've caused them. And then you get visitation with your daughter and, at some point, yeah, maybe the guy just did kind of like lose his shit and say, you know what, like I'm done with this.
Then, huh?
Hey, he ain't
I guess he ain't gangster, right?
He ain't gangster
You know
at
what I'm
all.
saying? I guess all the tats and a wannabe gangster. At the end of the day, when you tie the knot and you hold it up, big dog, that gangster goes out the window because now you're a pussy.
Yeah.
Now you're a pussy because now your daughter did have a father. You left her. Okay, even though you're in prison, you got visitation rights. You can still have a relationship with your daughter.
Right.
But once you hang it up, big dog, I don't feel bad for nobody in the situation. You did it. You killed the people you killed, and you killed yourself. Case closed. And ESPN wants to bring in guests and all the other bullshit. Keep on failing.
Robbie, second part, to me, that's just all financial.
Yeah.
That's literally a lawyer going, I put way too much time into this to not get paid. I got to figure out a way to spin this so that his family gets money.
Right.
And they just figured out, we could just say he didn't kill himself. And then, if he was murdered, they'll get insurance. Or we could sue the prison. Or, the story's not over. In fact,
well, they can still sue the prison.
Part two of the story is just beginning.
They can still sue the prison because, even listen, it was suicide committed on their grounds, on their watch.
Right.
And the way prisons do their watches and how
Great
much,
point.
especially in a max security, how much they come around and check on cells. It's timely. It's a lot. So to avoid stuff like that. And that's why they do it so often. So, it was it obviously was negligence on them. He obviously knew the times they came around and checked cells and knew when he could pull it off if he did kill himself. At the end of the day, it's a done story just like he's done. So we move on.
It's a final 5-4.
5-4. And talking about what we were talking about earlier before we get into our draft talk, quickly, is just, the conversation that we had, at the very beginning, and I know we talked about it before we came on, but it was it was the article that we ran across today of, would you trade Ben Simmons for Paul George? Nonsense. No. And I know what you guys are going to say because you're smart is no. Or just enough to have a clue. Like, we go find the guy off the street right now, maybe a dog walking down the street, and we'd say, would you trade Ben for Paul? And they'd be like, no.
Well,
letting you know. No. I'm a freaking dog.
I don't understand the other side of the argument because, to me, Paul George is a star. I give him all the credit in the world. He's a great player. But he's not elite. He's not a superstar. He's not a top 5 in the league. And if Ben Simmons projects to be the next Magic Johnson, like so many people say he could be. Why would you trade Magic Johnson in his prime for Paul George? Hell to the no.
No, I mean, this is why we sat through the tag.
Exactly.
For a guy like Ben Simmons' caliber, for a guy like Joel Embiid's caliber.
Right.
This is why we sat through this process. And for anybody that, can hop in front of a keyboard and write nonsense, I think it's
Would I trade my first 2 picks if we get the Lakers pick for Paul George? Absolutely. Because I'm going into the next season with Simmons and George and Embiid and Sarge. But I'm not giving up a player like Ben Simmons for him. But would I add Paul George to this team? Absolutely. Because I think this team is really missing a sharpshooter. And you add him to that team? Absolutely. But I'm not giving up somebody to get him. I wouldn't even give up Dario Saric for him.
No.
Here's my thing with Paul George, though. He was complaining the other night about he didn't get to take the last shot in the game. And he went to the media and he said he should have been the one to take the shot. Mm-hmm. If you're so goddamn good, your teammates should be doing everything they can to get you the ball for you to take that shot. So if your teammates can't get you the ball, I'm sorry. Like, you're not superstar status. You don't warrant a trade for a guy who was picked number 1 overall and has yet to play a minute in the NBA. And we actually talked about this a little bit last week in terms of that quote-unquote media company. I like and have a lot of respect for the guy who wrote the article, but that article is just way off base. Way off base.
And it's not to your point right there. If you're good enough, your teammates will find a way to give you the ball. Watson, the guy that actually took that shot that Paul George was referring to, came out and said the next day, "Oh, I thought I was here. I thought I was paid to be here and play basketball too." So obviously he's saying, like, who are you to say that I shouldn't have shot it, but you should have? I mean, that goes a lot deeper than about who Paul George is as a teammate.
And then does this now wind up becoming a thing in Indiana where – they're going to wind up. I think they wind up getting swept. Yeah, and then it becomes mutiny within the team. And then do they blow it up? And if they do blow it up, I actually kind of hope they blow it up because then maybe you get Paul George on the cheap.
I think the Pacers right now are turning into what the Sixers were pre-tank. They're going to be a team that's good enough to make the playoffs, but not good enough to make any sort of run. And they have a young talent in the Miles Turner kid at the power forward spot.
I like him. I like him a lot.
But they also have assets that could be moved in Paul George, Jeff Teague, and guys like that. But no, I could definitely see it blowing up because they're a perennial 7-6 seed at most, and then knocked out in the first round.
Well, the 2 names that you just mentioned there, I think everybody wants the Sixers to draft a point guard because even though the offense is going to run through Ben, you still kind of need that true traditional point guard who could match up against a 1 on the defensive end and then shoot it a little
Play
bit.
the 2 on offense.
The 2 on offense. If you do get those 2 picks, would you trade the 2 names that you just mentioned, would you trade them for Paul George, Jeff Teague, and maybe a later pick coming back from them?
I 100% would. I would.
2 first?
I would trade the 2 first just for George, because I think.
Right, but if they're blowing it up,
but if you're telling me I can land, if you're telling me I can land Teague too, absolutely, because Teague would be that. He's not your long-term solution, but if you add Jeff Teague to this lineup next year with Paul George and Ben Simmons and Embiid are healthy,
they're a top 4 seed.
You're 100% a playoff team, and you're actually a tough matchup come playoff time.
Listen, I mean, I play hardball with the whole situation. I mean, I'm not giving you my first. Say it's 2 and 4. You can have 4, right? I'll give you 1 for next year, but you're not getting 2 and 4. I mean, Bob Hartman. I had this conversation with somebody last night, but he's chiming in, trade those 2 draft picks for Porzingis. Now I'll give you 4.
I don't trade 2 of them for.
I'll give you 4.
Where does Porzingis go though?
But my point is, I'll give you 4.
Like, you
already have Porzingis.
Do you tell?
Sarge.
I'm about to say, do you tell Sarge to come off the bench?
If you're asking me like what I'll do, I mean, I'll give you the 4th pick. I'm willing to part ways with the 4 for a player if that's the case. But I'm not willing to give 2 and 4. I mean, I sat through it. We sat through it, and it's not to get older. Right. You know what I mean? It's to continue to be a young team and up-and-coming team. And would I like that Paul George and his team? Sure. Am I reaching out to get him?
You trading 2 and 4 for Jimmy Butler?
No.
Nope. Jimmy Butler's way too selfish.
Nope.
He will destroy this
4?
team.
Again, I mean, you want to talk 4. I mean, again, even for a guy I don't want either. 4, I'll give you 4, and we can talk next year about more, but that's all you're getting.
All right, what about a young guy that's on the rise? Are you trading 2 and 4 for a guy like D'Angelo Russell?
No.
Devin Booker?
I'd think about it. I'd give you 2. Yeah.
So now because now you're talking about
because you're still getting young. That's where I was going with that.
So that's where I'll jump into the 2. I mean, not saying Paul George is always 26, but again,
right?
I can also get an 18-year-old.
Say you draft, say you draft a Fultz.
Puts me 8 years.
Right.
Say you draft a Fultz, a Ball, or a Fox. With that first pick, there's your point guard. But this free agent class coming up, little intrigue, see some young talent. Might want it. Any interest in Chris Paul?
No, underachiever.
Interest, yeah, not at the price that he's going to want.
I heard a rumor that he goes back to New Orleans.
He's just an underachiever.
And him with them 2 big men, that'd be a lot of fun to watch.
Here's the thing, though. You look at what New Orleans did once Boogie got there. Nothing. But I'm convinced that Boogie Cousins is a team killer. He's like a team killer.
I just think it's overkill having 2 7-footers.
Well, he's got all the ability in the world, but he doesn't hustle. He's a technical foul machine, and may say he's a little bit soft. I would.
So how about this one, right? Mike Murphy. He says I have to see what the picks are before I say I'm moving them.
Yeah.
Good point.
If they get 2 and 4, that can fill 2 needs. They can fill 2 needs. He said I'd rather have Fultz or Ball at 2 and Tatum at 4. And I completely agree.
You know what Tatum is?
I'm just saying.
Tatum is a wing version of Jahlil Okafor.
Just forget it for a sec, though. But I'm getting an 18-year-old kid, so
I agree.
I'm really.
But with that
4th
4th pick, I'm taking Malik Monk.
Well, semantics, but you know where.
No, I get what you're
I see
saying.
it. Hey, it's funny because I'm going Fultz and Fox.
See, they're both point guards, though.
Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You figure out which one fits your system better, and you either bring the other one off the bench or you move them.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Because that's what part of me was going where you said the offense is going to run through Simmons. You know me, I'm huge on Ball.
Right.
Yeah, but Monk's a guy who plays with the ball a lot, too.
But that's what I'm saying. But then it's also, now I'm leaning towards more Fox because I want that guy that's going to be that point guard to be more of a scorer than passer because Simmons is going to be so ball dominant.
But I would Fox and Monk, I would be completely great with that because, Fox is a true point in my eyes. Not as much as, his jump shot needs work, but in terms of getting to the rim, you want guys when you got bigs inside to be able to get to the paint. And that's what Fox does great.
No, absolutely.
He can push in the league where you got to be up tempo a lot.
Right, but
if
you're looking for a guy who's going to be driving dish, and then you're going to have Saric and Rocco on wings, that works for me.
Oh, yeah. And then Monk's a guy who, in my opinion, can develop into a 1-2 slash type guy.
Yeah, Monk, I think is a sharp shooter.
And I completely agree. I think his shot will get better and
better. And it's funny because
get that body that looks like that.
Right, we have this discussion, and you start rattling off names, and for me it's like, Fultz, I'd take him.
Yep.
Monk, I'd take him. This
draft is too good.
The one guy that I don't want is Lonzo.
I'm getting there. I can't believe it.
Just because... And it's not even
soft.
He just don't fit.
He's not his father's
exactly,
son.
And it's not even because of the pops.
He's not his
father's son. Because eventually the pops thing will go away.
No, I wish he was more of his dad.
But that's it.
Then I draft him.
He is soft.
He could beat Jordan.
He's soft, and he.
5 of them at once. 5 on 1. But no, Mike, you're right.
He's soft and he can't shoot.
Have you gotten to that vibe that he is soft? Like his demeanor, I don't know if he's like purposely trying to be soft because his dad is so, boisterous, but I need a little dog in your daddy if I'm taking that early. And when I see, I don't see your daddy. All right? I need a little swag. Not too much. You don't got to be daddy, but talk a little bit. Show that you got some bravado. Hey, listen, when you go to the next level, you better have something. You can't go through that game quiet. This is my opinion. You need a little fire, and he's another California kid that, in my eyes, doesn't have the extra sauce. And a lot of them guys don't. There's guys like Chase Utley that fall off trees that are gamers and that you would have thought grew up on the East Coast playing ball in 30-degree weather. Them guys will come every once in a while, but most of these Cali kids, to me, they'll slow. That's why I got nervous ammoniac. I'm switching sports, but I know where I'm going.
But you saw what happened in the tournament. I mean, in the game that mattered the most, he got his ish handed to him.
You think Daddy comes up small in that game? I think he at least fouls out. Let him know he was there.
Well, Daddy's not getting off the bench at Washington State.
No,
so.
but listen, if he was
But he'll beat Jordan.
If he was a combination of like his dad's personality and his game, I want you every day and twice on Sunday because I just think that translates when you can play.
Yeah.
Now, for him, he can play, but again, I don't think he has that extra it factor. Now, can be completely wrong on the kid. I'm not in the locker room with the kid.
I don't know. He did come out and say, because people were saying who should go one, you or Fultz, and he said, I think I clearly showed that I'm the best player in this draft.
Yeah, that's just money talk.
Yeah.
I don't think.
Well, you talk like that.
I don't think he clearly
on the
showed.
court, though.
I don't think he clearly showed anything.
No, I don't think anybody clearly separated himself as the hands down number one pick of this draft. And I think that's
another guy that nobody's mentioning, and given he has a pending court case, Josh Jackson, who was supposed to be the best player in this draft coming out of Kansas when the year started. Still very good, and somebody's going to get him at like 8.
I would take him at 4 just because of his body.
No, exactly. Yeah,
You know
and
what I
that's
mean?
a 3. That's a
that's a guy who can play a 3. He's a guy who has the size at 18 still, and he has room to grow. Who can play a little 4 for you? You know what I mean? So,
my question: where did we make the left
I have
turn
no
to the
idea.
NBA draft?
I have no idea.
It's awesome. I love it.
So
I ain't even mad
we
about
get
it.
draft talking now. We're talking sizes.
all the draft.
We're talking
Rob, pull up
length.
the NHL draft.
We're talking lengths of guys. I mean, we're all over. But
Well, it's funny that you said that though, Sean, because I'm talking to my buddy the other night while the hockey game's on, and you were watching the Blackhawks game, and I'm like, man, I hate Patrick Kane, and immediately he's like, well, we got screwed in the lottery that year, and it was the year that the Blackhawks picked 1, the Flyers wound up picking 2, so now all of a sudden I'm immediately going through like the first round of the NHL draft that year, and I'm like, oh, we should have taken this guy. We could have taken this guy. Like, the Blackhawks got Patrick Kane. We got JVR. There is some awfully big drop-off from 1 to 2 there. I'd have taken Kyle Turris over JVR in hindsight.
Mike Murphy said, he's like, actually, I take it back. I want Jackson at 4, LOL. I said I want a Monk too, but the kid doesn't play a lick of defense. I'm a Kentucky
Who does
fan.
in the NBA now?
I don't see Brett Brown buying into that guy who can't cover on the perimeter.
Here's an interesting question, though. Kind of bringing it back,
James Harden
bringing
don't
it
play
back full
defense.
circle. You're talking about Josh Jackson having a pending court case. Is it hypocritical to want the Sixers to draft Josh Jackson, but the Eagles not to draft Joe Mixon?
No, because one person hit a woman and the other guy kicked the door.
No, who doesn't?
He kicked the woman's car door. Yeah, I'm drafting them both. But
You would.
But
No, I have no problem with Jackson.
But yeah, and it was his teammate's ex-girlfriend's car door he kicked in.
I can blame that on being a kid. Hitting the girl, and maybe reports coming out that there might have been another one. And
Well, see, and that was the thing. The whole thing with Joe Mixon, like I've said before, I'm on the record, is I absolutely didn't want him because I didn't want the team to have to deal with all of the stuff that's going to come with him. Not even from him. The media and all of the circus that's going to happen. Now when you find out that not only did he do it in college, but there's also suspicion that he did it in high school when it was swept under the rug, to me that's like fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me. I want nothing to do with that. And to the point that you made, was it 2 weeks ago, if Belichick's going to pass on you,
yep. Yeah. Once Bill says you're not on my board, I'm out too. And I've been out on him for a while, and I'll stay out on him. But
and don't get me wrong, I'm not going to deny that the guy has tremendous, tremendous talent. But he needs to go to a team like the Vikings, where all you're going to do in Minneapolis, St. Paul, is play football. You ain't going to go out and get in trouble up there.
They'll definitely have you make a switch.
I mean, listen, I get that you're not going to have 53 Saints.
I'm sure.
You're not going to have 53 Saints on your roster.
What is it with these Oklahoma
every
running
year?
backs?
Oh, you're right. I wasn't even thinking that.
I'm sorry.
No, it's no big. You're just not. I realize you're not going to have 53 Saints on your roster. You're out,
Right.
but a guy who puts his hands on women's a guy that I'm just going to sit out. And like you said, Mike, like we talked about last week, once I heard Belichick's out, I got to be out too. I just got to wash my hands of the guy and move on. But let's get into some draft talk, NFL draft here, and that's brought to you by the Soap Stash.
Do you like how I brought that back?
Yeah, the new soap standard. You can wash your body with some phenomenal freaking soap.
We're going
to
need to wash a whole lot of this conversation off at some point.
Have her lather you up with some soap stash. Maybe after you partake in, some Gronkage, some 69-inch. Make sure you clean
How
up.
about him today walking out? Walking out at Spicer's press conference.
Real quick, you can find him on the web, soapstash.com, on Facebook, Soapstash LLC. But yeah,
I was like,
Secretary of State, he's like,
that was the most positive media attention that Sean Spicer's gotten since Trump took office.
It would have only been better if he walked in like, is this where the beer's at?
It was his first human moment that I've seen for Spicer.
Yeah, you're right. And I love the fact that he's just like, I'll see you in a minute. What are you going to do, go pound a brew with Gronk? All right.
Who wouldn't?
So what are we talking? We talking where we think who will fall in the Eagles' lap at 14?
Well, it's strange because I think all of us, we've kind of had 3 or 4 names that we've all sort of had in mind for several weeks now. But now all of a sudden, and I don't want to say it's inevitable, but it probably is inevitable, that now all of a sudden the draft is 8 days away. And now all of a sudden you're hearing rumors that certain teams like other guys that were projected late in the first round, which is going to cause those guys that were top 7 to 12 to start dropping down into that area where the Eagles are at 14. So to me, that's actually caused me to reassess a little bit. Because if the 2 names that I'm hearing could still be available at 14 are there, I'm going complete opposite direction that I was 2 weeks ago. Because I was completely on board with, either Dalvin Cook or Christian McCaffrey. If one of them's there, you got to take them. If they're both there, to me it's Dalvin Cook because he's a 20-plus carry back, whereas Christian McCaffrey is more of an offensive weapon. But if what I'm hearing is accurate, and Marshawn Lattimore is there at 14?
Oh, Lattimore's there. I'm running the ticket up.
Yeah, but that's the thing.
He's locked down the number 1 corner in this draft.
Yeah, I mean he's a starter on day 1, and if not Lattimore, the other name that I'm hearing is Garyon Conley. Now I don't like him quite as much.
I think that's a little bit of a reach,
but he's projected
for a need.
But he's projected top 12. They're also saying Derek Barnett could still be there.
What about Marlon Humphrey?
I like that too.
I think Marlon Humphrey's like the 6th best corner in this draft. Not to mention, I don't like Alabama defensive backs.
But he's climbing. And
Barnett, to your point, I would not have no problem. I'm at the assumption now because it's gotten so freaking out of control with everybody and their takes and the mock. Shut up. Anybody but John Ross.
Yeah, I'm good.
That's where I'm at right now.
I don't need all
That's
that.
where I'm at right now.
You're not smart enough to wear the Adidas to win your own. You ain't smart enough to play for me.
All right, you wouldn't go John Ross. Would you go Corey Davis?
Absolutely. I think Corey Davis is the number 1 receiver in this draft. I have my rankings go Corey Davis, Mike Williams, Zay Jones, John Ross.
How does your best 2 players on the board different from me, Myles Garrett and Adams? Your Jamal Adams.
Myles Garrett is a slam dunk.
Well, 1.
Number 1.
Who's your 2?
But
mine's
Jamal,
Adams.
I love Jamal Adams, though. He might be the best safety in the draft since Earl Thomas.
No, I mean, I agree with that completely. My whole thing is those guys are so far removed that I'm not even
I'm just confirming.
No, Jamal, it would either be that or like Solomon Thomas,
all right,
the defensive end from Stanford. But no, like Jamal Adams, if I'm a team that has any type of secondary need.
If I'm the Niners at 2.
Yeah. Because that team, that's a team that needs everything.
Yeah, that's where I'm.
John Lynch could very easily draft a defensive back.
Adams is a monster.
Yeah.
I think he's the best safety product to come out the draft since Earl Thomas.
Interesting.
All right, so who do you have going at 14?
14? The past couple of weeks, I've kind of been fixated on Reuben Foster. Just because I think Jordan Hicks already said he's more than willing to move outside. And Reuben Foster is a guy that steps in and immediately becomes a day 1 run stopper. He's also very good in coverage. And then you pair him with that defensive line the Eagles got in Fletcher Cox, Brandon Graham. They're going to get to the passer.
Tim
But the
Charrington.
biggest thing was they got gashed last year in the run when they pinned their ears back. And if you have him in there and then you add Jordan Hicks, Nigel Bradham can keep the guns in Philly and not in Miami, you're going to have a very good run-stopping D. But, I mean, of course, you're still going to have the holes in the secondary. But
All right. So take out your crystal ball here. Aside from who you want to pick, the way that you see it all shaking out, with the 14th pick in the first round of the 2017 NFL Draft, the Philadelphia Eagles take, who do they actually take? Prediction.
I would have to say it's either going to be Barnett or Harris from Missouri. And if it's them two, I'd rather have Harris because he is a perfect fit for Jim Short's scheme more than Barnett is.
I hate to say it,
But I think it's gonna be a defensive end.
Captain?
I think it's going to be a tackle, and I think that's going to be an offensive tackle.
Really?
I really do, boys. I mean, that's what wins in this league. You need tackles. Your one's real long in the freaking tooth, and you don't have a replacement for him.
The only caveat I'll say to that is, though,
Why not a big Wisconsin boy?
there's Ramczyk.
I got nothing.
I'm just throwing a name
I
out.
would-
I got
He's
no
right
issue
around
with
that.
that.
He's
I would
right
have-
around that time.
He's about the only one because Cam
not sexy, I get
Cam
that.
Robinson has fell. Like I don't know why. Alabama
Gas
guy.
mask.
They normally have pedigree, but this has been projected as a predominantly weak offensive line class.
All right, so
but
I'm-
I do like Ramczyk.
So let me hop in here for 1 second. So let's say they make that pick. And they obviously, guys are slotted.
You are going to hear a pour of booze.
Okay, understood.
But to Tom said, it's not a
Understood.
sexy
it's
pick.
It's not a sexy pick. But if you make that pick, do you immediately pencil him in at right tackle, move Lane to left tackle,
And move Peters.
either move or release? And if you release and you free up that $10 million, do you then extend Alshon for a year?
I make him earn that one.
I got no issue with that. I'm thinking outside the box here.
Well, Dave Layton's
because
saying-
Or do you extend Jernigan?
well, hard to say because it becomes a situation where
Or you just sign Carson Wentz right now?
well, no,
Extend him.
No, I mean, I'm just
10
thinking,
years.
If you spend the pick on an offensive player, that's one less offensive weapon that you have the opportunity to
Yeah,
draft.
absolutely.
So then, do you take the best weapon that you've acquired this year
And make sure he's here.
and make sure that he's here for at least another year?
I can do that at any point.
And you're right.
Yeah,
I
you
don't.
still-
I don't
you
have
have
a
his
problem with
under
making him
control.
earn it.
Yeah,
I'm just
I can do it
wondering.
midway through the season.
I'm just wondering if that could be the thought process.
Well, I guess if they feel like he's working hard and doing the right things, especially at OTAs and moving on through, and you let him get halfway through the season, and you feel like that's the move you want to make. Yeah, then I have no issue with that. Once you're halfway through and you sort of see the guy work a little bit first
Right.
before I jump to that. But guess what? I mean, I know it's not sexy, and Dave Layton and guys do this too much. We need corners. We need corners. You can't draft for need
Not in the
because then
first
you
round.
might fall into a
That's why I
mark.
said if Lattimore's there,
No question. But if it's not the best player on your board, and the best player on your board is the tackle, your best player on the board is a linebacker, or the best player on the board is a running back, that's the position you got to go. Right? The best player on the board is Dalvin Cook, then you're drafting Dalvin Cook.
Well, I mean,
if McCaffrey's your best
See,
talent
that's
on the
what-
board,
it
you draft
kills
McCaffrey.
me
The
to
Cleveland
say.
Browns don't have a quarterback, but they're not going to draft Trubisky
No,
number one.
you go Garrett.
Yeah.
I mean, you go with the best talented player because at the end of the day, that's what's going to win in this league. I know you need a quarterback, but you also need talent around them. So you can't. You're going to reach and take it to Binsky, who I think stinks, or and reach for these QBs. And I love how people, 6 deep quarterback wise. Bruce Arians saying the other day, Bruce, lay off the grass, baby. I know it's 420, but lay off the cheap because you're so off base. That's how you tell me there's 6 legitimate quarterbacks in this draft. Stop.
420s
Stop.
tomorrow.
Maybe start early.
You're starting early.
Start
419, you got a minute?
Hey, how you doing?
You know what I mean? Like, don't try to sell me there's 6 legitimate quarterbacks in this draft. I had trouble finding 1 or 2. You're going to tell me Deshaun Kaiser's a legitimate NFL quarterback? I'm going to tell you his own coach
I'm
told
about
me
to say his college coach told
Yeah.
you he's not ready.
I think Watson will be legitimate,
I like Deshaun,
but he's not going to be ready year 1 or year 2.
But after him,
Nah.
I'm not the bench stop. I'm not Mr. Mitch. Because his name's Mitch. You understand?
It's Mitchell now.
Yeah, and that's even worse. That's even worse. That's a QBR 52. Like, written all over it.
You guys got
terrible. Like I'm a name guy. Like Jamal Adams sounds like he can play. Miles Garrett sounds like he can play. Like you got to look at names through this process too, boys, because nobody besides freaking a guy like Kuiper or our boy.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Tom Arnone theory in drafting. If he's got a good name,
he's probably gonna be good.
He's
probably gonna be good.
Probably gonna be good. I haven't missed Quentin Dix. Can't miss. Can't miss.
The Brickenshaw Ferguson.
The Brickenshaw. How does he not block out the sun? I mean, think about it. So Laramie Tunsil just sounds like that guy can play a little bit, even with two masks on. Not only his gas and then the
face mask.
and then the face, double mask. But I mean, look at it.
Is that like a 2-bagger?
No, Bob Hartman's right that it could be a run of quarterbacks, and that could change the whole draft up too, like it did last year.
And that's the way, honestly, the way people are talking is if Arizona's gonna jump on a quarterback round 1. Cleveland, I think, might take one at 12, where we were supposed to be, and it's just that's the biggest thing is if people go on a run at quarterbacks. Like this reminds me of the year when Cam Newton, then people Blaine Gabbert, Jake Locker, Christian Ponder, come on, dude. You know they're not NFL quarterbacks, but you just took one to take one.
Yeah.
But team GMs do that to try to save their jobs.
That's what they do.
So
go to winter meetings. See Pat Mahomes in shorts. Oh, daddy slings just like his father, hitting spots. Come on. I mean, like I said, you got a Mel Kiper and you got a Tom McShay. You got a few other names. Who's the Mike Mayock? Besides the big guys who watch every single college game and watch every one of these guys on film and study these guys throughout, right? Besides that, you got to go a little deeper when you're looking at this draft, as us as almost outsiders, even though we're not, because I know you spend a lot of time on it, I know you do, and I know I do as well, but we're also not Mayocked up.
No, yeah.
So Mayock is the only one of these guys I trust.
Me too. So when I look through this, I got to look at names. As much as you love Corey Davis, the name sounds a little bit maybe he can play, but Mike Williams is all I need to know with that name. That scares me. But does the second Mike Williams get it right though? But there's a lot, but I'm not saying you do that for all of them. But on some,
I'll tell you what name doesn't sound like it could play. John Ross.
Howie would probably,
John Ross sounds like a white accountant.
Yeah, well, Howie Roseman would do a better job if he drafted my names. Just saying, I'm here to help Howie.
Well, my prediction is the least sexy of the group.
He's going quarterback.
I'm going they trade out. I think they trade out of the first round.
Howie will not do that at home.
I don't bet against it.
They will burn that bitch to the ground, Turkey.
And I don't doubt you for 1 second, but it would not surprise me, given the cap situation and the need for so many players, that if he trades out of the first round,
completely out, not even back,
winds up getting an extra second, an extra third, an extra fourth, to the point where all of a sudden they're walking out of there with 9 players. Then it's literally
guess what? Every Eagles fan that bought tickets for Thursday night
they just
is walking out with nobody.
Right. They want a first round pick, and I get that. But it's a situation where if you could go from having 6 or 7 picks to 8, 9, 10.
Yeah, but it's the guy who's picking them, though.
I understand this. And
if I'm picking 8 or 9, or me or you are, and we're in the room and the 3 of us, then we're going to hammer some out, right?
I'm not saying it's the right move.
Give me the 6 picks, because I'm going to hit all 6.
Just
Howie didn't even celebrate Easter.
It's my gut. And the reason that I say this is similar situation.
Drop some change on the ground, Howie.
There you go.
I'm just going to keep letting you take shots. Go ahead.
That's what Joe Douglas should do. Just throw, right out the door.
But here's the thing. If this draft is as deep as everyone says it is, at the Eagles' positions of need.
But who says this?
I mean,
who did?
I feel
it's
very
every year
deep at corner and running back.
I just can't. So I love it. I love it. But every year, everything's so deep, right? Or every year, I thought this at one point this draft was a weaker draft. And all of a sudden, the combine comes through, and this is a deep one.
See, I don't think it's deep at any position other than corner and running back.
That's what I was going to say. I think offensive tackle, this is a terrible draft. Or offensive line in general, I think terrible draft. Quarterback, I think it's an awful draft. And then outside of The same thing, like tight end, you got two guys. You got the dude from Miami, and Njoku, and O.J. Howard. And then you got running back and cornerback, very deep. Wide receiver, I think, is 3. You want to throw John Ross in there because he broke the 40 time? 4 deep.
Right, but this is.
But everywhere else is very weak.
This is a team that still has a ton of that Andy Reid influence. And this is Andy Reid. This is a guy who traded out of the first round, traded his pick to the goddamn Dallas Cowboys, and then with the pick that he wound up getting later on, was early second, he drafts Kevin Kolb when Donovan McNabb was still in his prime. So it wouldn't surprise me one iota to see these guys trade out of the first round.
Well, Dave's right with me late, and he said they'll burn the museum to the ground.
And there's not even a
and
question.
Like Boathouse Row will be up in flames too. I mean, it will be ugly scene down there, and I might lead the pack.
Now, who do I want?
Tom's gonna be alive.
Who do I want? I've made it clear.
With the match.
Cocktails.
With the match. Like, Al, this one's for you. One for my homies.
He's going to take his vodka from his vodka. I'll
be like Sean Brady drinking on air.
No, he's going to take the alcohol and he's just going to
burn in my apartment.
He's going to throw it and then turn to the straw like.
But for me, I mean, obviously,
Dr. Evil.
I'm on record, and it's the same thing. My first 2 picks, if everything falls the way I want it to fall, are Dalvin Cook and Tease Tabor. But
what did you say? What was that second name?
Tease.
And by the way,
one more time for the people, Michael.
Tease
Give him that
Tabor.
full name.
Tease Tabor.
That kick can play.
And
watch a little tape.
Why?
Because
he got a name.
And we said this a couple weeks ago when we said Tease the bar. Remember? I was
going to say, to Tom's point, if you only watch workouts and combines, you would think Tabor stinks. But if you watch any Florida game or watch him play, the kid should be a first-round pick.
Yeah. Some guys don't translate to them environments. Like, it's so hard with the NFL Combine, and people get too excited for it. It's guys in shorts. Nothing translates to the game besides maybe a shuttle time. Like, really, nothing translates to the game of football.
Anybody that wants to put
shuttle's good because you're stopping and going, going.
Anybody in this town that wants to put that much stock in the combine, I got 2 words for you: Mike Mamula. Mm-hmm. That's all you need to know.
And a firefighter by the name of Danny Watkins.
And there's that.
Just helping the people. That's why this is why I'll trade the pick right now. You got somebody under the age of 26 a team wants to get rid of, I'll take them. Anybody. This give me a guy under 26. Every team, I say, my phone line is open. I want your best offer for 14, but I want a player that's in the league right now, 14.
Young, yeah.
Yep. Calling, got to be under the age of 26 or under. And then I open my phone lines up. Because somebody's going to call you to get rid of some money. I'll take it in. I'll take a proven player at 25, 26 over an unknown. Now, if you're asking me who do I really want, it's been Dalvin Cook. It's been Dalvin Cook since day one. And as much as I think Christian would work really well in this offense, a guy who can catch ball out of the backfield, can do a lot of things, it's Dalvin Cook.
Well, that's why if
he's there, that's who I'm taking.
If you ask me to name my 3,
I'm swimming in Boathouse
If
Road.
you ask me who I want, like if I'm like favorite, it's Cook or McCaffrey.
Yeah, I like that.
But if you're asking me to make a realistic pick, I think it's either going to be Reuben Foster or one of them defensive ends.
All right.
And like I'm not mad about it, but I want the running back.
What's up, Ryan?
At this point, I want to address a question that came through on YouTube from JLash90.
Fuck him. Love some lashes.
But this talks about another big name that's been floating out there, both positively and negatively. He wants to know, what do you guys think of hearing that Laurie gave Howie the blessing to draft Mixon?
Oh, Laurie's an asshole, but I don't even believe it.
I don't believe it either.
I don't buy it. Like I said, if Laurie's like Mr. Gold Standard, Mr. Robert Kraft, like listen, Laurie and Robert Kraft are like this. Mike will tell you. I mean, it's like his mentor almost, and I bet you they don't even talk. Like Laurie probably has a picture of Robert Kraft like next to his mirror where he gets ready in the morning. There's a picture of Robert Kraft because he loves Robert Kraft and what the New England Patriots do. Once you hear about, like I said, back to that, I just don't think he gave him the approval. Because a guy with an inside source to the thing, one of the Eagles beat writers said no to this, that he didn't give permission, and then some outside source who claims they're close to the situation on Twitter came in and said that there is permission. The Eagles are one of the franchises that have permission to draft Joe Mixon. I don't buy it. I'm going to go with the inside source with the Eagles.
Well, that
one of their beat writers. I forget who it was.
You look back at the Michael Vick situation.
Elliott Shore Parks.
Michael
burn him to the ground at the museum.
#ESP hot takes.
Yeah.
But if you look back at the Michael Vick situation, and this is fully pun intended, he was on the shortest leash you could possibly imagine. So
Joker collar, daddy.
And this is a guy who went to prison, did his time, was supposedly rehabilitated.
Hey, Pitbull. It's like being black. You can say whatever you want.
But and Andy Reid had to basically beg, borrow, and steal to get this guy in, and then Chip had to do the same to keep him in. So there's no way.
Oh, wow. No, you're right.
I'm just letting you have that.
You had to give the leash comment. You had to go in a tighten the leash shop over here. Real pun intended. Real short leash.
Doggone it. Nah.
Doggone it. But to your point though, like really different situation too. Like are there animal right activists out there? Yes. I own pit bulls. I've owned pit bulls for a while now. Did I condone what Michael Vick did? No. Hell no. But did the guy deserve another chance? Because me personally, I believed he was just the money guy of that. Now, his scumbag brother Marquez, he deserved to rot in prison. But different situation because Michael Vick was the type of thing where you could – I hate to say this, but it's true. The culture of what goes on down south. Okay, that's part of the culture. Now, is it right? Hell no. Mm-hmm. Completely wrong. But did the guy do his time and deserve another chance? Yes. Man, you talk about Mixon. I don't see where Jeffrey Lurie is the guy who jumped the gun on Deshaun Jackson a few years back when the gang affiliations came back. And right. Chip Kelly said he's on this team, and not even 24 hours later it was gone. Right. Before he can get any information on it, jumped the gun. Well, I think Lurie's a gun jumper. I don't think he's.
I'm thinking the staged robbery of his house had a little bit to do with that. But
I forgot about the staged robbery. These guys.
Listen, I know we got to get to break in a couple minutes.
These guys are freaking animals. But staged robbers. I forgot all about it.
I got another scenario that is completely off the hook, but I want to get your opinions on it. If Cleveland calls you and says, you know what, we will give you number one for Carson Wentz.
Chip said, "Oh no, one from that."
Do you do it?
Nope.
Hell no.
I'm not gonna let them get what their mistake back.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They know they made a mistake last year, and they come to you and they say, you know what, you guys have Foles, you guys have McGloin. We will give you number one for Carson Wentz. Do you do it?
No, because guess what? There's not a Carson Wentz. There's not even a Jared Goff in this draft.
Oh, I think there's plenty of Jared Goffs in this draft. Jared Goff sucks. He's horrible.
Well, that was my point. There's not.
There's plenty of baby hands in this one.
Unless Myles Garrett could throw a football.
But here's Bob Hartman's comment. I think it goes right with what we were saying. Vic had a plan in place for reinstatement, and then he came in as the third QB. Yep. Nixon will come in as the guy sharing plays at running back. Dogs to humans, no comparison, and I love my dogs. Okay? And I love dogs. Big dog guy. You hit a woman compared to some of the things that go on down south. I'm not wrapping my – listen, I'm not drafting the guy.
Mixon, he's got to go to a small market where, you know, he's not going to face that East Coast or Chicago or L.A. media scrutiny, and he's just got to keep it under the radar.
He's got to get drafted by Tennessee.
Honestly –
really?
It's probably not a bad pick.
Yeah. I mean,
not a bad fit. They're pretty stacked at running back right now. But
yeah, well, and it's they like to party in Nashville. So,
but you're not off though. A Tennessee, a Jacksonville, a Carolina, a Minnesota, a Green Bay. Although Green Bay, they take their shit pretty seriously up there, even though they're a small market.
Well, Dan isn't happy with your scenario.
Well, it's not my scenario. I'm just throwing.
I said we handled it.
Yeah, throwing the question.
We all said no. None of us would do it.
I wouldn't do it either.
No.
But
now, if you want to give me, I mean, you could always entice. You could always tickle Daddy and get him excited. So I mean, I don't know. I mean,
you want to give us 1 and
2 and 3.
What's the other?
12.
No, they have. Is it 12?
Right? Isn't it
12?
Yeah, they have 12.
1, 12, and
one next year.
No, they have an early second rounder, too.
I want 1, 12.
I want 1,
2,
12, your second rounder, and a 1 next year.
And a 1 following year. You got to blow the doors off for me. That's the only way you're getting my quarterback in the future. I mean, you really got to blow me away. And I might even want more than that. I might say that's not even enough.
You might actually have to blow me.
You might really have to bring over your wife where's Howard at? Somebody give me Howard. I need a blower.
We want 1, 12. Your second, a first this year,
first next year,
first next year, and your left corner, hey, would you blow me?
Yeah.
And Doug wants a secretary.
Yeah, Doug wants a secretary, and the first thing Carson takes out in the woods out there in Cleveland, we want the head of it. So we can hang it in our office.
And the venison. I want the steaks.
We're eating.
We're
Guys.
All right, get us
But
out.
no, I mean, yeah, I don't make the deal no matter what. I mean, I don't think you can even blow me away enough for it. I really don't.
No.
Because I know I have
My
a QB in the
franchise
future.
quarterback.
Franchise
Yeah, I mean, but, people want to trade Ben Simmons too in this town. This town, Tony.
Now, for the record, how big of an asshole did I sound putting that scenario out there? Because that's the same goddamn scenario of Ben Simmons for Paul George.
Yep. Maybe Ben Simmons, Paul George may be a little worse.
I will say
because the NBA's like one guy can change a whole franchise.
# lesson.
Yeah, lesson learned. I mean, these freaking guys. So on the other side, we're going to talk some Phils.
Little bit.
We'll continue to talk NFL draft. We'll answer your questions and more. All this. Tom.
Mike.
AM.
In the PM.
HUDRadio.com. This segment was brought to you by Gibson Mayer LLC, our certified public accountant. Make them yours. Find them on the web, GibsonMayer.com, as well as the Soap Stash, the new soap standard. You can find them on Facebook, Soap Stash LLC, or on the web, SoapStash.com. We'll be right back. Welcome in to the worldwide leader of what? Real Talk, HUDRadio.com.
Tom and Mike, AM in the PM, is brought to you by Gibson Mayer, LLC, certified public accountants. Gibson Mayer, located in Yardley, PA, is a leading accounting and business consulting firm with a proven track record of handling critical issues with expertise across many different industries, including construction, distribution, hospitality, manufacturing, real estate, service trades, merchandising, professional services, and professional athletes. Give them a call at 215-369-3300. That's 215-369-3300. Your initial consultation is always free, and if you tell them that Mike from Tom and Mike AM in the PM sent you, you'll receive 15% off all income tax services completed by February 15th. That's Gibson Mayer, LLC, certified public accountants. 215-369-3300. Or visit them on the web at www.gibsonmayer.com. That's www.gibsonmayer.com.
Fellas, you ever come in from that baseball or football game and your woman won't come near you because you stink beyond belief? Then you need Soap Stash. You should never settle for a generic hygiene product that only covers up the stench. Treat your skin with the best nutrients. Feel clean with the only soap you'll need. The highest grade carrier oils are ingrained in all of their products, which are 100% natural and terrific for your skin. No sulfates, parabens, or phthalates, and synthetic fragrance free. Contact Soap Stash for your sample package and give your woman what she deserves. You can contact Soap Stash at 844-890-3197 or visit them on the web at soapstash.com or Facebook at Soapstash LLC. Once again, their number is 844-890-3197. Soap Stash, the new soap standard.
Hey, Hey, do you need to get your skills in shape? Then contact the Scanzano Sports Center, located at 5 Carnegie Plaza in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. You can give them a call at 856-889-3434 or visit them on the web at www.scanzanosports.com. John Scanzano offers individual, semi-private, and team training lessons in hitting, pitching, catching, outfield, along with turf rentals. The Scanzano Sports Center is equipped with a 31,000 square foot indoor facility, 4 batting cages, and a 4,000 square foot strengthening and conditioning room. So what are you waiting for? Contact the Scanzano Sports Center today.
A2DRadio.com is sponsored by The Sports Outlet for all your sporting needs. Located 703 Black Horse Pike in Glendora, New Jersey. Give them a call at 856-939-2030 or email them at sportsoutletnj@comcast.net or visit them on the web at www.sportsoutletinc.com for all your sporting needs. The Sports Outlet.
Tom Arnone, Big Mikey Smalls, Tom, Mike, AM, in the PM, only on A2DRadio.com.
Fellas, you ever come in from that baseball or football game and your woman won't come near you because you stink beyond belief? Then you need Soap Stash. You should never settle for a generic hygiene product that only covers up the stench. Treat your skin with the best nutrients. Feel clean with the only soap you'll need. The highest grade carrier oils are ingrained in all of their products, which are 100% natural and terrific for your skin. No sulfates, parabens, or phthalates, and synthetic fragrance free. Contact Soap Stash for your sample package and give your woman what she deserves. You can contact Soap Stash at 844-890-3197 or visit them on the web at soapstash.com or Facebook at Soapstash LLC. Once again, their number is 844-890-3197. Soap Stash, the new soap standard.
Hey, do you need to get your skills in shape? Then contact the Scanzano Sports Center, located at 5 Carnegie Plaza in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. You can give them a call at 856-889-3434 or visit them on the web at www.scanzanosports.com. John Scanzano offers individual, semi-private, and team training lessons in hitting, pitching, catching, outfield, along with turf rentals. The Scanzano Sports Center is equipped with a 31,000 square foot indoor facility, 4 batting cages, and a 4,000 square foot strengthening and conditioning room. So what are you waiting for? Contact the Scanzano Sports Center today.
A2DRadio.com is sponsored by The Sports Outlet for all your sporting needs. Located 703 Black Horse Pike in Glendora, New Jersey. Give them a call at 856-939-2030 or email them at sportsoutletnj@comcast.net or visit them on the web at www.sportsoutletinc.com for all your sporting needs. The Sports Outlet.
A2DRadio.com is proudly sponsored by Gibson Mayer LLC Certified Public Accountants. Gibson Mayer, located in Yardley, PA, is a leading accounting and business consulting firm with a proven track record of handling critical issues with expertise across many different industries, including construction, distribution, hospitality, manufacturing, real estate, service trades, merchandising, professional services, and professional athletes. Give them a call at 215-369-3300. That's 215-369-3300. Your initial consultation is always free, and if you tell them that Tom and Mike from AM and the PM sent you, you'll receive 15% off all income tax services completed by February 15th. That's Gibson Mayer LLC Certified Public Accountants, 215-369-3300, or visit them on the web at www.gibsonmayer.com. That's gibsonmayer.com.
Yo, we're back. Tom,
Mike,
AM,
in the PA.
A2DRadio.com, live from the BMW Atlantic City studios. BMW Atlantic City, we're off exit 17 of the Parkway. Find them online, BMWAtlanticCity.com. Every Wednesday night, we're brought to you by our certified public accountant. Make them yours. Find them on the web, GibsonMayer.com. Tom Arnaud, Michael Mataraki, Sean Red, and Rob Povey on the ones and twos. We started our show talking a lot of things.
We talked about everything.
But our poll question you can vote on still. Let us know which part of the 2017 NFL draft are you most excited for? Draft itself, NFL experience, celebrity sightings, spotlight on Philly. Let us know. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. Radio.
It's funny because when I was thinking about the Twitter question, I threw that celebrity sightings thing in there. I was shocked at the number of quote-unquote celebrities that they have confirmed for the draft. You have a certain number of players that have been invited to attend. There's all kinds of big-name Division I coaches. Harbaugh will be there. Saban will be there. You name it. The who's who of coaches, the who's who of sports media. But there's all kinds of actors and singers and stuff showing up. This thing is just supposed to be, crazy off the hook. So it'll be real interesting to see what kind of twists and turns happen next weekend.
No, it will. Should be a good time down there. We'll be down there rocking it out, giving the updates until Howie trades out. And everybody will be pissed off.
You realize that if he trades out, it's all going to come back to me. It's going to be my fault.
It's all your fault.
I should have never planted the idea in his head.
Howie always listens still.
He does listen.
He is a
listener.
Should. He is a listener. So we talked about draft. We talked about where who we want at 14, who we think we take at 14, and just everything that surrounds the NFL draft. So you want to get involved? Any questions for us? Let us know. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. ATD Ray is where you can comment, and we'll read them out on here.
Well, we are off next week, so this is our last show before the draft. I know next week I'm out on the West Coast, and you guys are actually taking a version of AM and the PM off to the draft Thursday night. So you want to fill the people in a little bit on what you're going to be doing over there? Or?
Well, we plan on getting over there, early, 11-ish, getting over there early in the morning, setting up, and just enjoying the experience. All these things that we put on this poll question, just soaking it in with the people, doing some live vids, asking questions on what people want, just getting out there with them.
Some audience participation.
Yeah, we're not going to set up shop and be like, well, you can find us here. We're going to come find you. All right? Many of the big boys, they always want to say, we're going to be here. You can find us here. How about we come find you? All right? Switch that around a little bit. We'll hunt you down. Give your social security number, all your goods, and we'll find you.
I like it.
But, yeah, we'll be out there. We'll be having fun. So people can find us. We'll be yelling. Sure, it's going to be a vocal group.
Look for the loud guys.
Sure, it's going to be a vocal group. But, yeah, I saw some of it, set up down there, and it just seems like a good place to just go back and forth and just sort of take in the whole experience. So that's pretty much what we'll do. You just got to get over there early because there's going to be a shit ton going on over there.
Right.
Public transportation, obviously, the way to go. Home? I don't know. But, yeah, we'll have fun over there. So, talking Phils.
Well, there's a good chance that while round 2 and 3 are occurring on Friday and Saturday, I may find myself catching the Phils at Dodger Stadium.
Oh, I would if I was you.
Dodger Stadium is a bucket list item. There's just so much to do out there. It's almost like one of those things where if I'm out there, I feel like I have to go once. I want to go twice, but it's almost one of those things where I feel like if I do drive up from San Diego to L.A., do I just go to the game Friday night, get my Dodger Stadium bucket list out of the way, and then just go crazy in L.A. on Saturday. You know what
would.
I mean?
Just go to one.
Yeah.
Go to
Get
one.
it in, wet your beak.
Now I could channel my inner Brian Daly and see if I get in an Anaheim Ducks playoff game while I'm out there. But, be an interesting little scenario. Dodgers on Friday, Ducks on Saturday.
Yeah.
Or vice versa. I just can't see myself wasting 2 days or 2 nights in L.A. Even though this is what we do, I can't see wasting 2 nights in L.A. on sports.
No, one's fine. I mean, the Ducks you can sit out.
You got to go partake in the extracurriculars.
I can do
while you're out in L.A.
I can do a little sunset over the Pacific Ocean while I'm sitting at a bar on Santa Monica Pier.
The Dodgers is a must, but the Dodger Stadium is a must, but especially since the Phils are out there, right? Phils out there.
Phils are out there.
Yeah, so that's a must. The Ducks, nah, sit that out.
Yeah. Why would you go to L.A. and then sit near ice?
It's a good point.
True. That's what the fans think out there too.
Well, I figured I could get a playoff ticket for $20. So.
Oh.
You probably can. That's sad.
Yeah.
That's sad. So Buchholz
That ain't
sideline.
Charlie Conway's team.
True that.
Buchholz sideline for the remainder of the year.
Thank
All right,
God.
Eflin got his
it's
taste last
no,
night.
it's just crazy. It was almost like deja vu driving over here tonight because it was the same thing, like we talked about last week with Velasquez, and then he's pitching tonight, and it's, you start to think that it's going to be just the same shit all over again, and all of a sudden he comes out and he's cruising for a while. I mean, they eventually lose the game, but. And then you start thinking about the Buchholz situation. And, I mean, you called that. We were on the air last Wednesday night. He left the game early, and you called it right then and there. You said he's going to see James Andrews. He's done.
Done, yeah.
So, I mean, he's done for the season. You know me. I'm a big Zach Eflin fan. And I alluded to it earlier in the show that what you saw last night was typical Zach Eflin. He gets really amped up in the first inning, but he manages to fight his way through it. And he got through it last night. He only gave up 2 runs, and then he completely shut it down 2nd through 5th. To me, if I'm Pete, I let him hit in the 6th. I understand that he threw 85 pitches and they had a runner in scoring position, and maybe that's not the time to do it, but when you need innings out of your starters – and you got a kid who struggled through the first and then cruised through 2, 3, 4, and 5, I may let him hit top of the 6th and send him back out there and see what happens.
I agree completely with you, Mike, because especially this kid's coming in, he had an extra day or 2 rest based on his schedule in the minors. So you could have. I was very surprised when they pulled him.
I mean, and the unfortunate part about it is it's classic National League Baseball. You get to the 6th inning, you get a runner in scoring position, you're hitting for your pitcher, and all of a sudden you're just leaving it in the hands of your bullpen. After Sunday, and maybe wrongfully so, I just don't have a lot of faith in the bullpen. Even though, I mean, people want to kill Benoit for giving up the blast to Harper on Sunday. It's the first time he'd been scored on in his last 31 outings. So, are we overreacting because it was Harper and it was a 3-run walk-off? Probably. But when it's, when you're 14 games into a season and you've already coughed up leads how many times at this point?
That sounds like deja vu.
It does.
Yeah.
It's exactly what happened last year.
I'm waiting for the day when Hector Neris, even though we all agree Vince Velasquez should be the closer of the future for this team, but I just watch Hector Neris just go down, blow fastballs by people, throw filthy sliders into the dirt. Like, it's almost Brad Lidge-esque.
His split.
With the way,
his split finger's ridiculous. He can throw it at any point in the count. It's sick.
Why jump Benoit from the 6th, 7th spot to the closer spot
because
you have Hector Neris sitting there?
He's had experience doing it, and I think that, to me, it's a stopgap. I think eventually the direction that Pete wants to go is Neris as the closer, Benoit as the 8th inning guy, and then you fill in, going backwards from there. I just feel like he didn't want to take Neris and immediately just throw him in that spot, even though I think you should. Throw him in that spot, see what the kid's got. Mm-hmm. I mean, this is a kid who he pitched in the WBC. He went through spring training. It's not like you're going to put him in high-leverage situations that he's not ready for. He can do it. He proved at the end of last year he could do it. I just think for whatever reason Pete wants to ease him in, and luckily Benoit's a guy who throws 97, 98, and he's got experience in the role, and that's what they went with.
See, my biggest problem with Sunday was watching that last at-bat to Harper. He gave up the home run, yeah, but you could almost see it coming. He got away with 3 or 4 pitches previous in that at-bat where Harper just missed.
Right.
Or watched the fastball down the middle go by. And I'm just like, he's basically telling him, I'm going to throw you a fastball, try and hit it. Guess what Bryce Harper's going to do? He's going to fucking hit that ball.
Listen, when I hear a guy tell me that he's looking for a changeup or a curveball in the dirt, and
it hits a 97
it's 95 out, I need another closer. I mean, I know. Listen, I know it's Bryce Harper. I know all that, but if I'm thinking all speed and I hit a fastball out of dead center,
is he still the most overrated superstar in the game?
Yep.
Remains
agreed.
Yep. What a full season.
Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah,
season.
he come out and get hot now.
Another full season. Bob Hartman, hell is freezing over. Vince had an 8-pitch inning tonight.
Yeah. I mean, and that was the thing is we were talking about it off air before the show started. He cruised through 5, and then he gets into the 6th, and he's throwing meatballs. I mean, he goes single, double play, single walk, home run, single, and then the error, which I'm sorry, this guy's got mashed potatoes for a brain. Any pitcher at any level of baseball beyond 12 years old. And if you play travel ball as an 8, 9, 10, 11, 12-year-old, even you know this. Pitcher does not catch an infield pop-up unless your name's Cliff Lee. Okay? Ball goes up in the infield. You identify the fielder to catch it. You scream his name, and you get the hell out of there. And Velasquez got lucky tonight because if he catches the ball, he's probably going to get ripped by McCannon. What happened was he winds up knocking the ball out of Franco's glove, and the inning gets extended. If the next guy goes yard, that's just on him. And it's an they'd be unearned runs because of an error on Franco when you're the one who knocked the ball out of Franco's glove on a routine infield pop-up. You just saw what happened the previous night with Galvis, which I was hot. I was hot. When that happened last night, I immediately just said Galvis should be on second base right now. And then they hit a ground rule double.
Yep.
And on a ground rule double, he's scoring from second base. That game didn't have to go anywhere near extra innings.
No, it didn't. It's just playing the game the right way. And, a guy like Vince Velasquez, we were sicking last week when we had this conversation about him, and I stay true to my beliefs this week that the guy's made no adjustments to go deeper into games. None. Didn't add pitches to his repertoire. Didn't do anything to change from being hard. Okay, that's great. When you throw hard and you can command it early on in games, that's fine. But you see that at some point after the 5th, at some point, his command goes, and that 98 doesn't look as sharp as it did early in games. So as a baseball guy, what does it tell me? It tells me everything I need to fucking know. He's a closer. Everything I need to know. How many fucking times, Pete, that you got to watch this go on for now over a year? How long do you have to watch it before you say, hey, you can bring everybody else in your goddamn office to talk to? Well, it's time to bring him in. And it's time to say, hey, Vince, this is what's on the table for you. I'll send your ass back down, or you can move to be a closer. Real simple. What cards does freaking Vince Velasquez hold? None. He's not an all-star or clout in this league. Damn it, I can't deal with it. Watching the same thing over and over and over and over again at the big league level. You shouldn't be a big leaguer then.
Well, if you're
Freddie Galvis, same example. I see the same thing, the same freaking swing. Why are we dipping under baseballs, Freddie? You are a speed guy who needs to be hitting for contact and line drives. That's what you think. If you hit a ball out, so be it. I'm sorry.
Well,
it works me up with the same shit.
If you're pissed now, though, I have a theory on Vince Velasquez for you.
Oh, I love to hear it.
And you're not even going to believe this. You look at his starts. The first 2 starts, when he went 4 innings and 5 innings, were both at home with real high pitch counts. Third start, he goes on the road, and all of a sudden he's pitching to contact, and he gets through 6 with a low pitch count. he's afraid to pitch in his own ballpark.
Oh.
I mean, now, granted.
Is it that or is he just too amped up?
Citizens Bank Park is a hitter's park. There's no denying that. The ball carries real well there, short porches, all that, and that's fine. But I'd be willing to bet that if I went back and I looked at his home and away splits last year, if you take the 16 strikeout game against the Padres, his first start of the year, if you take that out of the equation and you look at his home and away splits, I'd almost guarantee you he's a much better pitcher on the road. Because I don't know whether he's afraid of giving up the long ball or he can't pitch in front of the home crowd or he's just got goddamn nuclear loose syndrome. But to me, he's a completely different guy on the road.
Yeah, well, he did the same thing in Houston for his little bit of time starting there. It was the same MO. I mean, nothing's changed. Nothing's changed. He's been a guy who gave you like 5 innings.
Houston's a bandbox, so similar type of situation.
5 innings, 5 innings, 5 innings, 5 innings, 5 innings. I mean, it's been going on for so long. I can't understand why they haven't seen it to make the move. I mean, you got a guy like Thompson down there. I don't know why he's not on this roster right now.
Well, they brought Lively up today. I'd be willing to give him a shot.
Yeah, why not?
Which I don't agree with, by the way. If you're going to bring up somebody to be a long man in your bullpen.
Why do they bring up Ben Lively to be your long man?
Well, Neshek went on paternity leave.
Yeah, that's right. Okay.
And so they brought up Mark Leiter yesterday, who should have been the long man. They needed to bring up another pitcher today. And to me, personally, like, I don't know if it's a reward for Lively to bring him up because of, all of the good stuff that he's done in the organization over the last couple of years, that we're just going to bring this kid up and we're going to throw him a bone, get him some Major League service time, start the clock, whatever. But for me, if you brought Lively up yesterday to be your long man, and you're not, Leiter, and you're going to bring up Lively and you're not giving him a start, you're doing that kid a disservice. Leave him in AAA at his spot in the rotation and bring up freaking Hobie Milner or Mario Hollins or somebody that you don't give a shit about.
Yeah, waste them bullets.
By the way, Singh got his first win the other night.
Did he?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, he's probably on his way, too.
That'd be nice.
Sooner than later. Oh, I feel like I got something in my eye. That's no fun. Nobody likes something in the contact. But no, it just drives me insane. It's the same shit. And, you bring up a guy like you said, Lively. Well, put him in for a start.
Give him a start.
Why don't you try Velasquez in that spot? What's it going to hurt? What's going to hurt? You have so many arms. What's it going to hurt? Is it going to ruin a guy's confidence? Now he can't go past, 4? Well, he already can't go past 5. So what's 4? Like, what can it really do to hurt the guy? Nothing. Nothing bad's going to come out of it, right? He either regroups and becomes a starter and a better one and puts time and effort into his craft, or he becomes a good closer. One of the two, or neither one work, and the guy isn't who you thought he was. Okay, right. But so if you told me you traded Ken Giles for Velasquez ended up being a closer and a better one, you still won the deal.
Right.
But they're so worried. I think part of it is Matt Klintak so worried that it would look like, will you trade a closer for a closer?
That's what you're right. That's what he's worried about.
And it's worried about perception instead of what's best for this baseball team. What's best for Vince Velasquez's future in this organization where I have 100 arms in the minors, and one of them was on my big league roster last year. And for some reason, we yo-yoed him. And Eflin's actually the guy who gets the call before him. And I like Eflin a lot. I think he's showed he can pitch better at the big league level right now than Thompson. And that's what I've seen so far. Better command the whole 9.
Long term, it's Thompson.
Yeah, but right now it's Eflin.
But I take nothing away from Eflin.
No, you don't give Jake Thompson, the guy who's up in September, to call. I just can't.
But what's ironic?
I can't. Thompson must stink.
What's ironic about the whole situation, and Thompson does stink right now.
They all do right now.
He's rough. But what's ironic about the situation is last week we're talking about the DL. We're talking about how the Phillies are one of the healthiest teams in baseball. Boom! All of a sudden, Howie Kendrick got a little strain in the rib cage. 10-day.
10-day. You knew that was coming, right?
It was, and now we get a little Daniel Nava, a little Aaron Altair. To their credit, I know you're not a big fan of either guy, but both have hit since they started getting a little playing time.
Oh yeah, Thompson's got roughed up. He's been getting roughed up. Yep.
It's funny because the one guy at AAA who's really dealing is the guy who's really not on the radar as a future starter. No, it's Ricardo Pinto.
Oh, yeah. Is Pivetta in double?
No, Pivetta's in AAA.
Because he was player of the week this week. Yeah,
Pivetta. Pivetta's dealing too. And Lively pitched real well. I mean, I'm not saying Lively didn't deserve to be called up because he did.
Yeah,
but if you're going to bring him up, use him.
Use him. You
don't
don't
sit him in your pen for 4 days.
Just to be like, hey, buddy.
Right.
Good job.
Yeah, don't sit
Proud
him,
of you.
Don't sit him in the pen for 4 days because you need an extra arm, and when Neshek comes back,
then he's out the door.
Right.
Listen, I mean.
But speaking of calling people up, though, how many more games do we got to sit through Cameron Rupp striking out looking, striking out swinging, before a guy that's in the minors batting .600 and Jorge Alfaro is up here?
You're not going to get any argument out of me on that at all. I'm not a Cameron Rupp guy. I never have been. I think he's got a little bit of power, but he falls into his home runs.
But that's what I'm saying. But how long do you think before they pull that trigger? Where it's like, all right, Rupp, like, we tried. It's not working out. We'll go with Alfaro and Knapp up here.
I think it's another situation similar to Maikel Franco a couple of years ago, where they basically just wait until June 1st when they can actually bring him up without starting the clock, so to speak. And then I think a lot of it's going to depend on Alfaro, too. I mean, he's off to a great start. If he keeps it up and he forces their hand, that's phenomenal. But if he drops off and Rupp starts to pick it up a little bit, you're not going to make a move just for the sake of making a move.
They all got to force hands at this point.
Yeah.
So that's the only thing I can wrap my head around to get these kids up.
But that's what I'm saying. You have Alfaro raking, Roman Quinn's raking down there.
Randolph hit two homers this past week.
I would
FYI,
actually
just because we always forget. That's
Yeah,
he's going
he's
really
just
under
like
the radar.
the 7th overall pick's just like,
Yeah, because he struggled. I mean, he struggled at different points, and it's probably to move to the outfield, which is a struggle. Moniak's hitting a little bit on the next level up, which is good.
At Lakewood?
But no homers.
Moniak is at Lakewood, yes.
No
I'll have
homers.
to go check again.
But guess what? 6'2", 185 ain't going to get it done. So you need. 6'2", 180. Actually, I looked him up last night. Real small. But you expect. Now I was telling my dad because it's funny. My dad's like, we have this conversation every freaking year. This team cannot hit. They can't hit. And I was getting like mad at him, like, dude, you're telling me things I know. I have no answer for you. Why is he not bringing this guy up? Why is this guy? I said, I don't know. I'm lost too.
Yeah,
I'm as lost as you are.
My average roster age, if I was running the team this year, would have been 21.
There you go.
But I mean, listen, they're still a young roster, but it's one guy really that you just want to see, and I think it would, I think if he had, I just think if Crawford were up, it would be the end of the conversation. I think people would relax.
Yeah, absolutely.
But Moniak, in my opinion, I figure last year's his first year, second year. I almost, if he hits this year, if he hits down there, I almost invite him to spring training. Just invite him. I'm not saying he's going to make the team, but I invite.
Oh, he probably does get an invite.
I invite. Boom. If I don't feel he's ready, that next year, he's up. He's up. 3 years. That's it. You're number one pick in the draft. If you're not up in 3 years, you weren't worth the number one pick.
That's what I said.
Really, if you weren't up yesterday.
Trout was up halfway through his second year.
Where was Harper?
Harper was up like a month after he got drafted.
My dad did go, Harper was up right away. I said, Dad, not everybody's freaking Bryce Harper.
Yeah.
The
guy left high school.
Baseball.
He left high school early.
Yeah.
Well, and that's the thing.
He's like, fuck ninth period.
Yeah.
I mean,
he was 17 playing community college ball.
But he was. But if they do the Moniak thing right, he's starting at Lakewood. He should finish at Clearwater. Next year he starts at Clearwater. He finishes at Reading. Following year he starts at Reading, finishes at Lehigh Valley, and then boom, and then you're fast track.
Let me ask you something. Do you even need to see him in AAA?
No, because
not if he really tears up Double A.
Well, because I'm a big believer, and I know you'll agree with me.
Because I think Double A.
More talent.
I was going to say Double A is
for the most part
your top prospects. AAA is your borderline major leaguers, guys that need a month or so.
Yeah,
now seasoning how to be a professional.
Yeah.
Quintac, to me, like what our AAA is this year, and
our best prospects.
Yeah, Mike will confirm it because they're all at the end of the, the end of the road here. Right, and when does the end of the freaking road
He can't say it. He can't.
Right.
Like how you look at J.P. Crawford and Nick and Alfaro. Yeah, going back to Double A this year.
A little bit. He's starting to come on. Here's the thing, though.
It's amazing. Crawford's hitting like 0.64 with an on-base
with
percentage
300
of 300.
on-base percentage. I know. It's crazy.
I'll take that over Freddie Galvis.
The weird thing, though, is that in terms of AAA, I agree that the talent, I think the talent level in terms of all-around talent is highest at Double A, but at AAA, what you have is you have pitchers that know how to get guys out, and that then becomes the gauge of not necessarily can you hit, but if you're
adjust.
at AAA, can you adjust exactly?
Yep.
Here's what's weird
Which
about
could be
this
real
whole-
telling about J.P. Crawford,
could-
Mike.
it could.
How does he adjust to
But here's
the pressing right now?
where I'm going with all this is you're talking about Rupp.
Yeah.
To me,
like
the
Rupp.
guy who hasn't earned the job yet that could be in just as much hot water as Rupp is Tommy Joseph.
Oh, absolutely.
Because
he's been
because
so
Reese,
underwhelming.
Reese Hoskins is raking
That's all
in
he does,
AAA
dude.
right now.
That's all he does.
And-
Stassi's
and-
probably would hit better than him right now, too.
And there's
That's
got-
another guy. Why have him make this team?
I think it's a left-handed bat off the bench. They're already. I mean,
Because I just feel bad for him. You let him hit
They're already looking ahead to Hoskins, Mike. Really? Do you think they are? Like, they're already looking
I don't
one
know,
step ahead to
I
Hoskins?
don't know if they're looking, but there's guys in the organization have already said that of all the talent they have at AAA, he's the best pure hitter.
Stassi
And-
or Hoskins?
No, Hoskins.
Hoskins, okay.
And they said that a lot of people were deceived by the fact that he hit 38 bombs last year, but he also hit 285. And he had half as many strikeouts
That's Bryce
as
Harper.
Cousins.
Which is huge.
Right,
That's what
which
you're
is-
looking
it's
for.
a huge
Contact
number.
guy.
So where I'm at now is, are we looking at this thing all wrong?
Tommy Jones looks like Greg Oden, but white.
But good, but I mean we're
Dicky thong.
we're sitting here and for the last year we've been going.
Hands for days, Dickie.
It's Crawford, Williams, Alfaro, and then you had that next level of Cousins and Hoskins. But now I'm like, and I see what's going on down there, and I'm like, is it really
That packing order, yeah.
Alfaro,
Hoskins.
Cam Perkins? Because he's hitting the cover off the ball now. He was a big time prospect who's just sort of become the forgotten man.
Yeah,
Because
a
of
lot
all
of them
these
have.
names
Yeah,
coming
a lot
in.
of them have.
But all he does every year is goes out and hits 290. It's every year. And he gets bumped up and he hits 290 again.
Another outfielder.
So
Can play first, too?
He's left, right, and first base.
Yeah, I thought so. Okay.
But is it a situation now
Jesus,
where
you're
it's
loaded out there.
where it's Alfaro, Hoskins, and Cam Perkins, and Nick Williams is fighting to get in that mix. Roman Quinn is fighting to stay in that mix. Because, Quinn's in, but he's fighting to stay in.
Well, you know what's funny is we talked about this, I think, a few weeks ago. Don't make me lose my freaking point now. We were talking. That sometimes it's not always the high guys on MLB's top 100 or don't necessarily be the guys who become the backbone of your franchise. Sometimes you have them low level picks that figure it out.
Yeah.
Right. They were scouts didn't love them, but doesn't mean they couldn't play. And they figured it out, and they just can hit. Like Hoskins,
Right, like who thought
like
Ryan
these guys
Howard when they got drafted was going to be that guy?
So you'll have these misses. Not saying Crawford's a miss or Randolph or Moniak or any of that, but or Nola, right? They're your four high level picks, right? When you look at the Phillies and their picks, you think of Nola, you think of Crawford, you think of Nola, Crawford, who am I missing? Moniak. And Randolph. And then you bring in the Nick Williams because he was brought in for Cole Hamels and Alfaro and Appel, who will hurt his arm again and whatever that is. But you look at them now; they're high level prospects that you brought back in. But you look at that, not necessarily they're going to be the guys who end up being the best major leaguer for the team.
It doesn't mean they were
failed.
trade.
Like,
Yeah, it doesn't mean you failed.
That whole core, like,
It means you created
Right.
a deeper farm system.
Who would have thought 2 years ago out of all that, Brock Stassi's the first guy to make a major league roster on opening day?
True.
Well, right.
Yeah,
Now,
you don't know.
Well,
Or Tommy
story, though.
Joseph 40 years ago.
Oh,
You tell
yeah,
me Tommy
true.
Joseph was ever going to play a big league game, Mike? We
No.
were all sitting there.
Especially
done.
at first
Yeah.
base. Like,
Yeah. Oh,
Although-
catcher.
It's funny because he showed off the catcher hose tonight.
Yeah.
Did he let one loose?
Well, they had it was a ball hit down the right field line, and Cespedes was trying to score from first. Saunders overshoots Hernandez as a cutoff man. Joseph has got the play lined up. He catches the throw from Saunders on a short hop, turns around and throws an absolute P to the plate, nails Cespedes, and I immediately that's a catcher's arm.
Yeah.
I'm glad you brought that up, Mike, because that's an example of the shift, putting guys in unnatural positions because who should be cutting off that ball? Cesar Hernandez. In order for him to cut off that ball, he would have had to backpedal like a cornerback.
Because he was too far out.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, because they had the shift on. Okay.
Right.
Yeah, they had to shift on, and
For Bruce, yeah.
he's too far out to be a cutoff
the shift
man.
that don't work.
All right.
It doesn't.
We figured that out.
Yeah.
You
we
saw
that
it the other
day,
night.
yeah.
That post the other night. Sweepsy sent that to me.
Right.
And the exact works were like, these freaking geeks, don't get it that it's not a game. It's not a game where you can sit on a computer and decide if a guy can play. Or anything like that. It's a game where the eyes are going to tell you how things are. And yeah, there's numbers that come into baseball, and we all know that as baseball guys. But at some point, like the over need to like recreate the wheel.
Right.
Like, okay, you don't need to have your second baseman playing in right field all the time in this huge shift. I mean, you see some guys that can handle the bat well can beat it. But I just don't see it. Play guys straight up.
Well, you know
the numbers aren't telling you that big of a difference.
You gotta have batters butt against it and knock this shit off.
Well, that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah, like what's
if I'm
his face
like,
did
I would have had
Rizzo.
Ryan Howard bunt every at bat.
Right.
You know who
I'll
else
take
is
that single guy. I'm
absolutely crushing right now at Double-A is the King.
Kingery, well, he'll
that's
get dealt.
I had somebody ask me earlier.
He'll get dealt.
They said, "What if Cesar Hernandez is the real deal?" I said, I hope he's not.
Well, I had this discussion online
Cesar Hernandez
2 days
is the real
ago.
deal.
Me right now at this point in the season, with him off to that hot of a start, I'm trading Cesar Hernandez. I'm bringing Valentin up because he's crushing at AAA, and I'm moving Kingery up. I'm just going to keep the train rolling.
I'll do it the opposite way. I'll deal them. I like Hernandez, man. I do. I know he had, I know the base running issues and things like that last year.
He's a 7-hole hitter on a good team.
He's a worker. I disagree with that. I think the guy can bat one or two for any team. I think he gets it. I think he picks it defensively, which we already know all these guys do. But he hits. He can run. He can take bags. He can hit for power. He can hit in the gaps. He does a little bit of everything.
MLB Network yesterday also said he's the best bunter in baseball.
I love him, man. He handles the bat well.
Schwarber has something to say about that.
I really listen.
Pure luck.
Listen, Scotty Jetpack might be the real deal. Valentin might be the real deal. I'll deal them too because I know Hernandez can play at this level. I know he can, and he's not old. He's 26 years old. He's a kid still. So I'm in no rush. He's not even in the prime of his career yet. So if he keeps getting better, then he keeps getting better, and that's my steal.
In my book,
right? Because that's a guy who was considered a utility guy. Coming up, he didn't have a spot. He didn't have a spot. He didn't hit like this in the minors. No. He hit, but not like this. 270
they showed
guy.
A stat tonight before his first at bat.
Give Matt Stairs credit for this kid too. A lot of credit.
His last 101 games, he's batting .329.
It's impressive.
If Matt Stairs, the professional hitter, gushes over this kid and loves this kid, I'm in. I don't need to bring anybody up to take his place because he gushed in the booth about him, and all he's done is gush on the bench about this kid and his work ethic and everything he's done and put in. Listen, I want workers, man. I want workers. If I know I got a worker, I can win with workers. I can win with workers. This guy's developed himself into a good baseball player, unlike other guys we've spoken about on this show. He's developed himself into a good baseball player.
Can we move him to short and get Freddie the hell out of here?
We could. Move Freddie to second. Maybe we'll hide him there. Maybe we'll calm down a little bit. Oh, he can pick it at second. As I put in now, Hernandez can pick it at second after all the other stuff he does.
Yeah. I'll do you one better.
Yeah.
I'll do you one better. Move him to third and send Michael Franco back down to learn how to hit again.
Well, Mike, you know what the funny thing is? Early on, he was getting it.
He looked like he made adjustments.
And he still does. He just, his exit velocity is like sixth best in baseball, I heard the other night, which is absurd, which means he's smoking balls.
You got to put the bat on the ball to get exit velocity, though.
Oh, I know. I'm just rattling off things I heard about him. I think he's in a funk. And again,
and I still think he's your first baseman.
Well, I agree with that. Machado's your guy. I mean, listen, if this team, if they don't spend money this offseason.
Hold the phone. You put a gun to my head right now and you tell me in 2 years I could have Michael Franco or Rhys Hoskins as my first baseman, I'm taking Hoskins all day. I'm done with Michael Franco.
I'm not done with him yet, dude.
No,
not yet.
I
know your frustration, but he's not Freddie Galvin's frustration because at least he made adjustments. At least he tried going. I mean, even last night, he tried taking the ball the other way. It's something he's never done. So I'll brush my hands for a little bit and say, hey, at least you're making the effort that you're listening to a guy like Matt Stairs. Like, most of these guys tune out. The fact that you even got this guy thinking opposite field is amazing, and Matt Stairs deserves a raise. Really, because
Matt Stairs does deserve a raise.
Most big leaguers, you're not going to him being like, listen, you're pulling off the baseball, blah, 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 because these guys want to hit homers and get paid at the end of the day and say, listen, man, you can do a lot of damage opposite middle, and the fact that early on he was really working on that and doing that, I'll consider that part of of the struggles early on, different approaches, and maybe thinking a little too much up there on what he should be doing instead of going to work. But I think Franco's always been a hot guy, and he'll tell you this, and he knows it just as much as I know. He's Mr. Streaky, and he's going to get hot and go on a tear, and we're going to forget this conversation.
He better.
But you can get away with guys like that in your lineup if you have a Machado or a Harper. And I'm not even being Mr. Harper, but guess what? At the end of the day, though, because I have so much money, the more I think about it, you want $500 million? Where do I sign the check at? Really? Because I'm printing money at the ballpark, right? I'm printing it. I can have Machado and Harper.
That's been confirmed.
I mean, we can sign everybody in the world and sign all our guys. Really? We have that much money. This isn't where, like, we're up with the Yankees and the Cubs, and we got to act like that we're big business, that we're a big market. We can't act like that we're Tampa. Quintet can't act like he's Baltimore or other places he's been. So I think that's important to realize.
I don't think he is. I just think
they're being patient.
He's slow playing it.
But it's not even a matter of being patient. It's
you want to wait till you really have free agents out there to spend the money.
Exactly.
On, not to spend.
That if you're gonna break the bank.
You're breaking on big dogs.
Yeah, you're going to break it on big dogs.
You break the bank on a Harper.
No.
Trout if he was free agent, obviously.
You call Machado and Harper in at the same time.
Meeting at the same time, right at Gino's.
Sit down right here. Here's a blank check. Write what you want.
Whatever you want. Whatever you want. You want ownership?
I'll hand you the whole thing cash.
Want ownership? We already got 45 of them. We already got 45 owners. You guys want in too? You can have 2 more. I mean, seriously, what's another 2? Really? I mean, I think we deserve a raise.
Can it be like Rigneto Doring get a horse?
That's great. That was great, right? Like I would want to play for that franchise. Like when your owner knows about you that well, where he wants to like take care of you with a little something extra. That's classy, dude.
Here's $18 million a horse.
Odor is a dog, and I love him. He can play second base for me any day. You throw him bows, knocking dudes out. I love a guy like that. He's got a lot of flavor. But I was just gonna say something about what's his face. But I mean, think about 30? It. Oh, if Harper likes, and I'm not Mr. Bryce Harper. We all know this. He's freaking tons of talent. Nobody's taking that away.
He might hit 60.
And he's only a puppy too. He's a baby.
He hit 2 today. One was a grand slam.
Yeah, he's a monster. But this is how he starts every year. He's a hot starter. And he's inconsistent. But if you told me if I sign Machado and Harper next year, you know who's called up on this team too? I'll tell you who I'm calling right up. See if you can guess. He makes his team next year. I don't even care how he hits.
Crawford.
Nope. Well, he should be. I mean, that's unspoken for because Galvis is out.
Wait,
Quinn.
You don't care how he hits.
I don't care how he does. He's on this big league roster.
Are you talking Moniak?
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. I'm bringing in vets. I'm bringing in guys who know how to get it done. I'm putting him right in the mix of these guys.
Absorb.
Right in the
Sponge.
mix. He's going center. Harper's in right. Adubal's in left. I got all stars both sides of you. I got all-star players on both sides of you. If you listen, he's gonna figure it out real quick.
Well,
that's 2 years. I mean, I'm not rushing him, but I'm also not extending it.
You can allow young players to be in their head like Maikel Franco is right now and get through it when they're not your centerpiece anymore. Yeah. When you got these other big guys and they can learn how to get through it. I mean, a la Conforto from last year, this year.
True.
I never saw a player more in his head, and then I see a carbon copy in Franco right now. Those guys will get through it, but it's a little easier.
Talent prevails at the end of the day. And to your point, Robbie, imagine Frank going over to first base. A guy like Herrera, too. All these guys is and you have Crawford and Moniak up and some puppies with some vets who can hit. And these guys can relax and go play the game. And I think Moniak will get so much out of coming right up and being in an environment of a Harper and Machado right off the bat.
See, here's my thing with Franco, though. And don't
he just wants Hoskins.
No, it's not even that. I mean, actually, no, because where I'm going with this is
Mike wants Rise.
Mike wants
Rise.
Well, these are all hypotheticals.
Rise Hoskins sounds like he flat out rakes. You know what I mean? Like that name is like this dude's batting 480 in high school with 92 home runs.
Here's the thing,
Al Bundy of baseball.
If you look at the Phillies organization,
he would have an Asian fan base.
The one position where they don't have a ton of organizational depth and nobody pushing the guy at the major league level is third base. Yep. Is he just too comfortable? And if he gets moved to first base and all of a sudden he's got guys like Hoskins that are beating down the door, does he suddenly get motivated and turn it on?
If he was too comfortable, he would have never made that adjustment that he started to make. He would never
and I'm
even
still not
consider it.
even-
You know what I mean? Like, that's just my thought on it. Like, if he was that comfortable, he would have never thought about staying inside of baseball. He would have never thought about, head down, driving through it the other way. He would have never thought of it. He would have never let that soak into him. He would have just brushed it off because who's pushing me? I'm a guy who hit 30 home runs for this ball club last year. Nobody's, like Mike said, there's no third baseman in the organization. These guys know. Freddie knows. Freddie knows that Crawford's behind him. Hernandez Hernandez even talked about Valentine and Kingery behind him, and knowing that, hey, he knows. He's well aware.
I think another thing with
but
Freddie
look what he's doing, though.
Yeah, well,
he's got guys behind him, and he's playing his ass off.
And that's the guy that I want to keep then,
That might be a thing with Freddie now, too, though, is he knows no matter how good he plays.
I disagree.
Crawford's going to be there.
I disagree to a point, though, right? You are right, though. Like
he's like, who the hell do
JP
I
Crawford
care?
will get every opportunity to be the starting short, but if you
But
rake,
you're still playing for a contract.
But if you rake, they could deal him. Like, if Freddie Galvis was a 300 hitter and a Gold Glove shortstop, I'm dealing Crawford then. Like, consistently that type of guy. Crawford isn't on my team then. I don't care how.
Because you're getting a number one pitcher back for Crawford.
Yeah, because I don't care if he's Major League Baseball's top 100 if he's one. I don't care. If I got a guy who can bat 325 home runs and picking his shortstop, I don't need J.B. Crawford. Because that's who he's going to be. That's who I hope he's going to be. So that's the whole Cesar Hernandez point. If guys down in the minors can do the same thing you do, but I know you can do it already, I don't need them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it is to a point, though. Like, I think the pressure of knowing Crawford's behind him has probably affected the kid. But the thing is, when you see the same swing and no adjustment with that kind of cut and that long swing drives me crazy, especially when I see him doing things, doing this with his shoulder a lot, right? Trying to keep that in. I see him doing the knob to the ball, trying to do all these things, but
to me,
he can't fix his swing. I don't know, bro. I don't know what it is.
To me,
it's a good point.
When you're talking about that, to me, what that tells me is he suddenly thinks he's a power hitter and he's trying to generate too much torque.
Yeah.
Oh, no, 100%. And the minute he hit that home run ball in Cincinnati, his first at bat, I immediately put my head down and was like, that's the worst fucking thing that could happen.
Yeah.
Like,
I couldn't even cheer.
There goes his season.
Yeah, I couldn't even cheer. You so on. Like,
his whole season.
He's batting 200. Yep. But that's the thing. I mean, you see everything he does is torque. And listen, I don't care who you are at the big league level or any level, man. If people can disagree with me, if that head doesn't in on the ball, if that head's not down on the ball, you're going to be a very inconsistent hitter at this level. You will be. Good. Right. I mean, look at Cabrera swing. Just watch Miguel Cabrera swing and tell me if that head ever flies out on him.
Miggy's had the same swing for 15 years.
But you know what I'm saying? No, but it's the fundamentals of the game. These guys all want to think they need to generate all this torque, like Mike said, and what goes with torque? Too much torque. The head flies.
The head flies.
Because your body is flying open. What happens is, these guys all listen to Josh Donaldson instead of listening on how you should swing a bat. Like, he talks about it's nothing to do with his hands. It's all torque. Well, guess what? You're not going to be a consistent enough hitter for me.
Right.
That's just my opinion. You're going to strike out way too much, all right? And the guy's a jerk-off to add on to it. He just is. But that's not the proper way. Like, he's like, oh, if a coach ever tells you to get on top of a baseball, tell them they're an idiot. Well, I'm not going to teach an 8-year-old to get underneath one. It makes sense? I'm going to teach you square the ball up. There's no underneath or on top. Barrel the ball. Square it. Square it. Where's my head going to be when I square that ball up? On the barrel. Like, the best hitter of all time, the hit king, one philosophy he had. And he'll test this. I know, Robbie, you will too, because we're older gentlemen. Track the baseball. Mm-hmm. Any pitch I take, I'm tracking location. Because it does two things. One,
he had the most exaggerated track
of all time. Because
he would literally sit there and stare it into the catcher's glove and then stare at the catcher and wait for the call.
Wait for it.
I mean, he tracked so well that it was exaggerated. It was unbelievable.
But anything you do at that level needs to be exaggerated for muscle memory to dive on in here and help out, right?
For replication.
Yeah. That's all it is.
Who did that later on was Lenny Dykstra.
Yeah, did a real good job.
Just track it all the way to the glove.
And guess what? His on-base percentage was phenomenal when he started doing that. Everything went up for Lenny. Did a great job of that, too. And I remember Pete Rose always talking about it. And it's something like my head never flew up balls because I used to work on that. Even in like BP, I'm not like Pete Rose by any stretch, but it works. And then when I see big leaguers never track baseballs, like you don't want to track the location of that pitch. Where's he pitching you? If you just take it and then that's it, and you don't know where it went, what are you doing? It's all about pitch by pitch adjustments, not only for the pitcher but the hitter. That's what good big leaguers do. Any good big leaguer is going to track that baseball and say, okay, that's where you're going with me. Good, because it's going to do two things. Now my head stays down on the ball. My head's not going to go here. My head's going to stay right here. It's common sense, dude.
Speaking of
it's common sense, and I just can't believe big leaguers don't get it.
Speaking of good big leaguers, there is a guy on this team that I am very quickly becoming a fan of.
Who's
and he got off to a little bit of a slow start, but the more I watch him, the more I think this guy is just an outright professional ball player. It's Michael Saunders. Like he's smart. He runs the bases well. He throws to the right base. He hits the cutoff man. I love everything that this guy does on the field, other than the fact that he's gotten off to a slow start. To me, what he is Pat Burrell before Pat Burrell got too old. And I don't even talk about the number similarity.
He'll never be Pat off the field.
Right. Nobody will.
Legend. Wait for it.
Wait for it. And keep waiting for it. But
Derry. Sorry.
I'm binge watching that.
You're spending the night with Pat the Bat. No, but
Somebody's gonna fuck Pat Burrell tonight.
there you go. But
whether you like it or not.
Whether you like it or not, Saunders is at that point where I feel like the decline may be starting, and this may be like his last big contract. I don't know. He's not the most fleet of foot guy, but he runs well enough. He's not the best defender, but he's good enough. He's got a good enough arm. Like everything right now, for $9 million a year, he's good enough. But I love like the baseball smarts, the IQ, the play in the game the right way.
Doesn't make mental errors.
Right.
He never hurts your team.
Right. And if some of that could rub off.
Looks like that's in fast motion, doesn't it, McCaffrey?
That's live speed, isn't it?
Wow, look at that footwork. Do we reconsider 14? I mean, again, but shorts in a day. Don't fall in love with it. But that is freaking ridiculously quick. That's not even normal.
He's only going to carry the ball 12 times a game.
Yeah, but he catch it 10.
He'll catch it 10.
No, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, real quick, guys. Just on another subject, sticking with baseball, though. I want to give a little love to Ichiro real quick before you guys sign off.
I actually had that, but go ahead. You go.
The black one or the white one?
No, the real with the blue check mark, Ichiro.
Absolutely. Probably had his last at-bat in Safeco Field, a place where he really built with his legacy. Hits a home run. I mean, just a great story for a great guy. It's, come over late in his career. And talk about having the total antithesis of what you should be doing at the plate in terms of repetition, going along with our point, but was still pretty successful at it. I just really kudos to the Seattle fans, really, applauding the man and just going out with a bang.
No question. It's funny because I was going to wait till almost to the very end to bring that up. I'm glad you did because that's a guy right there who, quite honestly, I feel like he wanted to get 240, 250, 260 hits a season instead of being a 25 to 30 home run guy. I feel like if he wanted to be a 25 to 30 home run guy, he could have been, but he knew that would have gotten him down to 170, 180, 190 hits. So there's going to be a lot of fly ball outs mixed in with his 25 to 30 homers.
Right. I mean,
He's a great hitter.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Not Pete Rose by any stretch. People don't want to make that argument, but great hitter.
Could you imagine?
Do you think Ichiro is better than Pete?
No. I'm saying the people that came out, Ichiro has more hits now. Professional. He's playing in Japan. Dude.
Yeah, everybody hits in Japan.
Could you imagine, though, if Ichiro was a switch hitter? If he was a switch hitter, the way Pete was, it's a whole different ballgame.
Oh, yeah. Agreed.
If my uncle had tits, he'd be my aunt.
There's some people that have that.
I was going to say,
just assume my gender.
Bruce?
Doesn't
Caitlin?
Doesn't he?
Kylie?
Oh, Kylie.
Ladies?
Kylie.
Ladies?
Oh, Maron.
Everybody want to get dressed together? Everybody but Bruce. Everybody in the dressing room but Caitlin. All right. Jeez, I love it. We rolling out of here? Yeah, we got, 2 minutes? Here, these are the couple Phillies notes I jotted, even though I'm not a note taker. 4.1 pitches per plate appearance going into the night led Major League Baseball.
Matt Stairs.
We knew that. Batters 4 through 8, 40 going into the night, 40 for the last 414 with a whopping 187 batting average.
Yikes.
And then you have this. 2 outs, runners in scoring position, best average in the National League. So you look at best working counts, great, best in baseball, but just not getting it. It's not translating right now. So you hope these good at bats start translating into hits and everything that comes with that. It's all.
You gotta have
you know.
gotta have runners in scoring position to get the opportunity to
Yeah.
hit
Touche.
with runners in scoring
And they
position.
haven't had many runners in scoring
And
position.
another nugget that I heard actually on the way here, Hellickson and Eichhoff both in the top 10 in fewest innings pitched per inning so far.
There we go.
It's well known. Ichiro went yard and BP at will.
There we go.
That's a sweeps. He's chiming in
That's
late,
it.
right when we're wrapping
That's what
up.
Mike just
There we
said.
go.
Is that what
He
you
feel
just
like
said?
He coulda,
Hey,
well, he said he
could've.
feels like he could have hit 25 to 30 each year if he wanted to.
Oh, yeah. Wanted to be that player. No question about it. Well, it's another fun show. I'd like to thank Gibson Mayer LLC, our certified public accountant, our Wednesday night sponsor. Find them on the web, gibsonmayer.com. Soap Stash LLC, the new soap standard. Find them on the web, soapstash.com, Facebook, Soap Stash LLC. BMW of Atlantic City, sportsoutletinc.com, ScanzanoSports.com. For Tom Manone, Michael Mataraki, Sean Redden, Rob Povey on the ones and twos, and another edition of Tom
Mike
AM.
in the PM.
HUDRadio.com. We'll see you at the draft next Thursday, rocking and rolling with the people, for the fan, by the fan, the best in the business. Hashtag no goddamn fucking notes. We're out.
Peace.